You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1657. 1657 Chapter 375 Madman 5. Not long after, the sound of air being torn apart could be heard. Qingjia and the other experts rushed over one after another. Qingjia's eyes were gloomy as he looked around. Dao Qing quickly controlled the divine runes and looked into the distance. In that direction, the aura of death was boiling. After hesitating for a moment, he shouted, "Chase!" Qingjia and the others didn't care anymore and chased after him. Damn it! With such a short distance, the enemy dared to attack and kill Black Armor and the others. Not only did they kill Black Armor alone, but more than half of the Night Patrol army was killed. After they left, Heaven's Gate smiled and casually killed the rest of the Night Patrol army with a palm. "Commander." Some of the guards around looked at him. "Don't worry. He was killed by the undead." After saying that, the General of Heaven's Gate released the aura of death, which invaded the Night Patrols and corroded them quickly. He said calmly, "This city was destroyed by the sky, not by the mystic armor." The others were stunned and didn't say anything. Soon, someone asked, "Sir, was that Suyu just now?" "Maybe." The General of Heaven's Gate smiled. Who knew? Black Armor was an idiot. As the General of the Night Patrol Army, he actually listened to the orders of the black-armored race. Did he really think that the City Lord could tolerate him? Our City Lord didn't care about anything, but it didn't mean that he could tolerate the betrayal of his own people in his own territory. If he became a guard, he would no longer be a member of the other races, but a guard of the ancient city. Self-destruction of weapons. Tianmen muttered. "I didn't take that guy's weapon, did I?" "Luckily. As expected, you either have to forge your own weapon or find a reliable weapon forging master. In any case, a weapon forging master like Suyu should never take their weapon. Be careful not to self-destruct at any time. The Black Armor is close to the second layer of the mountain and sea realm, but he killed it with a single slash. This guy is really scary." While Heaven's Gate was thinking about this, the number of undead spirits behind Suyu instantly reached 10. Terrifying to the extreme. The sizzling sounds grew louder. A large amount of death chi seethed and invaded his physical body. As for Suyu, he used up a large amount of Heaven's origin energy to fight back. At this moment, his physical body shook. With a rumble, golden light flourished. His physical body, which was close to 17, finally advanced this time, reaching 17. With his physical body reaching 17 points, the strength of Suyu's acupoints instantly exceeded 9,000 points, and his physical strength soared. Reaching 18 points meant that his physical strength was close to 10,000 points, and he was truly close to the mountain and sea level. At this moment, he hadn't finished consuming the mountain and sea blood essence, but Suyu felt that it was limited to him. With over 9,000 acupoints, perhaps he could try swallowing the blood essence of the middle stage of mountain and sea before exploding. Mid-stage of the mountain and sea realm wasn't a big problem, right? Perhaps it wasn't enough. Last time, he had asked the Vanguard unit guy. He was at the 5th level of the mountain and sea realm and had 50,000 apertures. The difference between mid-stage and early stage wasn't small. The difference between mid-stage and late stage of the mountain and sea realm was huge. Behind him, Qingjia also quickly caught up, but he didn't dare to get close. He coldly shouted, "Suyu, how dare you!" Suyu ignored him. At this moment, someone faintly said, "Suyu, you can run. There are still many humans in the ancient city. They are not strong enough. Where can they run to? Suyu, why don't you spar with me? I will let these humans go." At this moment, Suyu suddenly took out something. It was the corpse of a black-armored race member who had just died. The strength of the Lingyun realm. He turned around and threw out a punch. Boom! The body of the Lingyun black armored clan exploded. The blood of the dead body was fresh. At this moment, a large amount of black blood spilled out. Then, 7 or 8 dead souls suddenly appeared in the sky. Boom! Qingjia and the other experts instantly collided with the dead souls. Qingjia hurriedly took out a token and shouted. The dead souls hesitated for a moment and were somewhat unwilling. They quickly chased after Su Yu. There were more than 10 dead souls behind Su Yu. Qingjia said coldly, using this method won't work. You've killed yourself. No one can save you. Su Yu wanted to rely on the dead souls to deal with them. It was wishful thinking. At this moment, there were even more dead souls behind Su Yu. There were countless dead souls in this ancient city. Su Yu had provoked so many dead souls. He couldn't run away. Su Yu did feel the invasion of the dead souls. There seemed to be a few Lingyun realm dead souls mixed in. The death aura was very strong and invaded his body. An ancient city token appeared in Su Yu's hand. Some of the dead souls stopped for a moment, the others continued to chase after him. Behind him, Qingjia and the others stopped. The dead souls that had stopped were crossing paths with them. Qingjia frowned. It was very troublesome to encounter the dead souls here. The ancient city token could work, but it couldn't always work. Retreat first. Dao Qing shouted. Don't come into too much contact with these dead souls. At this moment, many of the weak were already boiling with death qi. If this continued, it would be very troublesome. F***ck off. Qingjia cursed in his heart and had no choice but to order the others to retreat. In front, Su Yu quickly disappeared into the night. Dao Qing looked in the direction he had disappeared in and frowned. This fellow was very cold-blooded according to the words of the human race. When he said that he wanted to capture the human race, he completely ignored it. However, Su Yu's target was very big. At this moment, the place with the densest death qi was Su Yu's direction. He couldn't escape. Even if he found an ancient house to hide, he wouldn't be able to escape. Follow him. If he enters the ancient house to take refuge, that would be even better. We can block him. Dao Qing shouted. Qingjia nodded and quickly led his men to follow. 2 Shanghai realm experts had died. Beside Dao Qing, Jiu Xian couldn't help but say, Brother Dao Qing, he seems to be stronger than me. Dao Qing didn't say anything. That fellow's killing intent was too strong. Why did a killing embryo appear in the human race again? When that fellow turned his head, it was as if he was looking at a dead person. His gaze was even more murderous than a dead spirit. He was a very terrifying fellow. At this moment, Su Yu took out the ranking board again. Help me lure away the dead spirit behind me. 5 drops of sun and moon blood essence. Without this, 2 mountain and sea realm black armor clan corpses. Deal, half an hour at most. 1 hour. 2 mountain and sea corpses, and you're going to help me lure away the dead spirits for half an hour. Robbery. Sure. Su Yu didn't reply, cursing inwardly. How black-hearted, I'll kill them all for you. After killing 2 mountain and sea realm corpses, you've only lured away the dead spirits for an hour. F***ck. Don't let me find a chance. Otherwise, your heaven-hunting pavilion will be in big trouble. I'll remember this. A moment later, a masked man appeared. It was the same white shadow from before. Item. Su Yu threw out a storage ring. In the blink of an eye, the white shadow took out an ancient city token and let out a few low cries. The undead struggled a bit, but they still quickly ran away with this guy. Su Yu let out a sigh of relief. It was good that they left. The dead souls gave him a lot of pressure. 1 hour. Those guys probably thought that the dead souls would continue to follow him. It's your turn. Su Yu quickly turned invisible and flew toward Qingjia and the others. However, he had to find a place to devour a drop of the essence blood of the third level of the mountain and sea realm. It would be best if his physical body had the strength of the third level of the mountain and sea realm before he went to kill people. After killing so many mountains and seas, Su Yu's ranking on the heaven hunting list had risen by another rank. 16 on the heaven hunting list, Su Yu. He had killed many first-level mountain and sea realm experts. At this moment, many people's lists were trembling slightly. When they saw this new update, many people cursed in low voices, "Kill the embryo." He had only been here for a few days. How many mountains and seas had he killed? Did they really think that mountains and seas were worthless? In the human headquarters, Lord Xiaoho had also received a ranking. When he saw the change in the rankings, he couldn't help but curse, "This fellow. Why isn't he running back yet? Is he still killing people?" He really didn't want to live anymore. It wasn't good for the Great Xia Manor to interfere now. If the Great Ming Manor didn't send out a peak sun-moon realm expert, it would be difficult for them to bring that fellow back. At the same time, the news spread quickly. Human realm, Great Ming Mansion. Zhu Tiandao sighed. He really knew how to stir up trouble. Which clan was he fighting with? The Mystic Armor Clan. The Mystic Armor Clan, how dare they? If they wanted to kill you, you could just lie there and be killed. How dare they resist? Did they really think that the Mystic Armor King was powerful? Shadow. Here. Bring the Shadow Guards to the Grand Heavens battlefield and bring Su Yu back. Zhu Tiandao said calmly, "Kill all those who block the way." "Sir, how many?" "All of them." Shadow was shocked. "Sir, take all 12 Shadow Guards. Go." "Yes." Shadow was shocked. 12 Shadow Guards, including himself, 13 of them, 6 of them were sun and moon, and 7 of them were at the peak of the mountain in sea realm. These were the core guards of the Zhu family of the Daming Mansion. Had the mansion master gone mad? All of them had entered the heavenly battlefield. Once they were destroyed, he didn't dare to think about it. As for Zhu Tiandao, he looked at the list again and muttered, "Damn it, I'll take a gamble and see if I can kill mountains and seas. Maybe I'll be the next Yi Badian." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1658. 1658 Chapter 376, Heaven Board 11, Su Yu asks for a subscription. 1. Heaven destroying ancient city. Killing intent surged. The aura of death shot up to the heavens. On this night, the dead continuously appeared in various parts of the city, scaring countless living beings into trembling. They did not dare to leave their homes, allowing the world outside to turn upside down. Every expert rose up, stepping on the corpses. It all depended on who they stepped on to rise up. Could Su Yu rise to power? Or would he just die? No one knew. In the past, when Madhua rose to power, he did the same thing. He massacred everyone in the area. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to kill someone at the 7th level of the mountain and sea realm. In fact, Invincible had personally fought for him. In the past, when Yi Badian rose to power, he also swept through the area, massacring all living things. Many invincible experts of the human race had fought for him. The Emperor of the Great Xia had fought for him many times, but, in the end, he ended up in a miserable state. Some geniuses could walk all the way to the end, while others died prematurely. Whether it was red armor, green armor, or Lei Ju, who didn't have some real ability to make it onto the heaven hunting list. Who hadn't killed before. In the end, they died one after another in the past few days. This was the heavenly battlefield. The battle of 10,000 worlds. It was either you die or I die. One side would always step on the other to rise up. At this moment, killing intent was everywhere in the city. At this moment, the immortals had reached Dao Cheng and were rampaging in the sky above the ancient city. He chuckled and said, "Su Yu, why don't you come and fight with me? I sincerely invite you. If you win, you can walk out of the ancient city. If I win, I'll invite you back as a guest. Why do you need to implicate the humans in the city?" The dead spirits were lured away, and the aura of death seemed to have been suppressed a lot. The heaven hunting pavilion had probably used the ancient city token to suppress it. At this moment, the city was in chaos. There were many dead souls. Cheng Bao and the others had been tracking them all the way, but some of them had lost their tracks. Dao Cheng had no choice but to step out and provoke Su Yu to come out himself. "You've entered the heaven role in a few days. Don't you even have the courage to fight?" The divine text in his hand continued to rotate, locate, and investigate. This fellow Su Yu gave him a very dangerous feeling. His killing intent was like Xia Longwu, and his talent was like Yi Batian. He was more like a combination of the two of them. One Yi Batian was enough to make the entire world restless. In order to kill Yi Batian, he had sacrificed the lives of two unrivaled experts. Now, Xia Longwu had yet to reach the Dao realm, and countless sun and moon had already died in his hands. It didn't matter if he succeeded in reaching the Dao realm, or if he failed, he might still be unrivaled. The 10,000 clans could tolerate Qin Fong and Huangteng, but they did not want another Yi Batian or Xia Longwu to appear. Silence. In the dark. Su Yu continued to lurk. "Go to hell. You're an old immortal at the 9th level of Ling Yun, yet you dare to provoke me? In just a short year, I've failed 7,000 to 8,000 times. Since I was young, I've been killed thousands of times. Do I still care about this? Was it useful to provoke me? If you let your clan's little fairy fight with me, I would still dare to fight, but not you." This guy was evil. Su Yu looked at him. Even the calamity-type divine text was jumping. It was best not to even look at it. It was a little dangerous. The Dao Qing divine text circled around his palm as he sighed in his heart. How did this guy suddenly disappear? His hiding ability was too strong. In addition to the number of ancient houses in the ancient city, it was difficult to determine where he was hiding. He did not say anything else and returned to the team. Dao Cheng took out the ranking board and thought for a moment before entering a line of words. "I need to know Su Yu's exact location. 10 drops of sun and moon blood essence." Dao Cheng's face was a little black. "Too expensive. Although Su Yu is on the heaven roll, he is not worth this price. Because he's a multi-divine literature department expert." The heaven hunting pavilion only had one sentence. "Whether you want it or not, it was up to you. It lasts for 3 hours. Help me pinpoint his location. I'll give you 10 drops of blood essence." "No, 1 hour, 10 drops." Dao Cheng's eyes were a little dark. He really wanted a lot. Su Yu was a genius. Even with his divination skills, it was hard for him to locate him. He could only seek help from the heaven hunting pavilion. 10 drops. For a sun-moon realm, even if it was a first level, it was equivalent to killing a sun-moon realm expert just to locate Su Yu for an hour. Dao Qing hated it in his heart. Heaven hunting pavilion. This organization was going to be destroyed sooner or later. Thinking of this, Dao Cheng looked at Qing Ho and said, "Brother Qing Ho, do you have the sun-moon essence blood here? I only have 5 drops with me. The heaven hunting pavilion needs 10 drops. It can give us an hour to accurately locate Su Yu." 10 drops. Qing Jia couldn't help but curse, "Snatch it. F***ck, if this wasn't snatching, then what was? He wasn't even the sun and moon." Thinking of this, he shook his head and said, I'm just a mountain and sea realm, how can I have a collection of the sun and moon blood essence? My race is inferior to the immortal race, so we don't have such luxury. This was also the truth. You were only a mountain and sea realm, and if you wanted to have the sun and moon blood essence, unless it was a reward, you wouldn't have it on your own. Jiu Xian said, Brother Dao Qing, I have it. Dao Qing smiled and nodded. Jiu Xian, lend me a few drops first. I'll return it to you when we return to the immortal world. No need. Qing Jia was green with envy. This was a great clan. A true top-tier great clan. Ling Yun had the sun and moon blood essence. How could the powerhouses of all clans not be tempted? The sun and moon were almighty experts. Many clan leaders of small clans were only at the sun and moon realm. The overlords of the ancient city were only at the sun and moon realm. The sun and moon realm could run amok anywhere. For example, Zheng Ping, who was at the sun and moon realm, was extremely arrogant when he came to the ancient city. For example, Madhua Na, who could kill someone at the 7th level of the mountain and sea realm, didn't need to worry too much about his safety. This was because when he reached the sun and moon realm, he would be killed. There weren't many who had the guts to kill him. Dao Qing didn't say anything else. He also took out 5 drops of sun and moon blood essence. After waiting for a while, a white-masked man appeared. Item. Dao Qing looked at him. He vaguely wanted to make a move, but in the end, he chose to give up. He threw out a bottle and said, I need a precise location. If the heaven hunting pavilion can't do it, I'll pay you back tenfold. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1659. 1659 Chapter 376, Heavenly Ranking 11, Su Yu, 2. Of course. The white-masked man said and quickly threw out a flying crane jade talisman. He said, follow this and you'll be able to find him. However, I'll make it clear in advance that this is only to track the position of the sub-ranking in his hands. Once he drops the sub-ranking, that has nothing to do with us. Accurately locate him unless you have his blood essence. You know this. If you're careless and he finds out, it's because of the sub-ranking. If you drop the sub-ranking, you won't be able to return it. Dao Qing said calmly, I know. In addition, the Heaven Hunting Pavilion does business, so don't tarnish their reputation. Since I bought his information, you are not allowed to leak it to him. Of course. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion's reputation is number 1 in 10,000 worlds. After saying these words, the white-masked man disappeared. Qing Jia waited for him to leave before saying in a low voice, with the strength of the mountain sea realm, I have the confidence to keep him. Forget it. Dao Qing shook his head. It's just a bunch of Heaven Hunting Pavilion puppets. They are not the mastermind. Killing him is useless. After saying that, he struggled with the flying crane jade talisman in his hand. Dao Qing said calmly, why don't we find him? Once we find him, we have to kill him in one strike. 10 drops of sun and moon blood essence can only locate him for an hour. Once he finds out and leaves the list, it will be very difficult for us to find his exact whereabouts. Qing Armor said in a deep voice, he is being chased by the dead souls. The ancient city token he has is not of a high level. How can he hide his whereabouts? Dao Qing said faintly, don't you understand? What? Qing Armor was puzzled at first, but then he was stunned. You mean? Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Dao Qing said coldly, since he can do business with us, let alone Su Yu. Qing Bao cursed in his heart. So that was the case. Dao Qing continued, including the fact that we want to attack him, he might have bought the information from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. The Heaven Hunting Pavilion is an organization that only cares about profit, regardless of justice. Qing Bao said coldly, these fellows, all the powerful clans, should find them and destroy them. Difficult. Dao Qing shook his head. This organization isn't weak. A few days ago, there was an invincible person who appeared. It's very likely that he was an invincible person who attained Dao in the heavenly battlefield. We don't know exactly who he is. With such an expert hiding his tracks, it's very difficult to find him. Furthermore, it's hard to say if there's only one person who appeared. He said, the heaven hunting pavilion claims to have the 4 heaven hunting tribes, heaven, earth, black, and yellow. There are 2 pavilions, east and west, south and north. The one who appeared last time was only the south pavilion master, the east and west pavilion master, the north pavilion master, and the 4 ministers. All of them might be invincible. Qing Jia was shocked and said, that's impossible, right? Then, wouldn't that mean that there were 8 invincible tribes? So powerful. Then, other than the big clans like the immortal gods, which clan could be more powerful than the heaven hunting pavilion? I'm not sure. Dao Qing didn't say anything more. Besides, it would involve some secrets. Why was it impossible? If the heaven hunting pavilion was weak, it would have been killed long ago. If it hadn't been killed, the heaven hunting list would have been taken away. This thing was a good thing. It was definitely a divine weapon. A treasure that surpassed the heaven hunting list. Without powerful strength, how could the major clans like the gods, demons, humans, immortals, and demons tolerate the existence of the heaven hunting pavilion and control the heaven hunting list? It was precisely because they were powerful that they allowed them to continue like this. This included the trading of information. The largest intelligence merchant of the 10,000 races was the heaven hunting pavilion. Back then, when Yibatian of the human race died in battle, the great Qin king of the human race and the others pursued him. They felt that the heaven hunting pavilion might have betrayed the whereabouts of the invincible human race. They pursued him for many years. In the end, it seemed that a pavilion master of the heaven hunting pavilion had personally come forward to explain that they definitely did not do it. With the reputation of the heaven hunting pavilion as a guarantee, they finally came to an agreement with the human race. Only then did the great Qin king and the others give up on pursuing them. During that period of time, many experts of the heaven hunting pavilion had been killed. Of course, the human race had also suffered many casualties. Dao Qing did not think much about it. This time, he had to pay such a huge price. He had to kill Su Yu or capture him alive. The flying crane in his hand started to move. He released the flying crane and it flew quickly. Divine runes surrounded the flying crane, making it invisible. Dao Qing said slowly, "Follow it, don't be too obvious." The experts nodded. They understood this. At this moment, Su Yu was hiding in an alley thousands of meters away. The Calamity Divine runes jumped again. This time, it was a bit intense. Danger? Su Yu cursed in his heart. It had been jumping all day long. He couldn't even tell where the danger came from. Ever since he had entered the ancient city, the Calamity Divine script hadn't stopped. Su Yu thought for a moment, then quickly fled. But this time, when he fled, the Calamity Divine script was also jumping. He had only bought an hour's time to get the heaven hunting pavilion to help him contain the undead. If he went over, it would be a waste. The 2 mountain and sea corpses would be gone. He wanted to get closer to Qing Jia and the others, but every time he got closer, the divine runes would jump violently. What's going on? Su Yu cursed inwardly. Was it very dangerous? At the same time, Dao Cheng and the others also frowned. Was it a coincidence, or was Su Yu really so vigilant that he kept changing positions, flying cranes, and changing directions? Dao Cheng wanted to curse. If this thing didn't come from the heaven hunting pavilion, he would have suspected that it was broken. Then why did Su Yu have nothing to do? He kept changing his position. What was going on? No matter how vigilant he was, he didn't need to be far away from them. He would change his position every 2 or 3 seconds. Cheng Bao couldn't help but ask through voice transmission, is this thing accurate? The reputation of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion is still guaranteed. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1660 1660 Chapter 376, Heavenly Ranking 11, Su Yu, 3. Dao Cheng was also helpless. As for why this was the case, it could only be said that Su Yu was overly vigilant. Or, was there any treasure that could discover their existence from a great distance? Was there such a treasure? There definitely was, but could Su Yu have such a thing? Dao Cheng sighed in his heart. He increasingly felt that he was not sufficiently prepared to attack Su Yu this time. It was best to wait until the sun and moon arrived. With the strength and speed of the sun and moon, they might be able to capture Su Yu very quickly. Without the sun and moon, Su Yu would be able to hide his tracks with just the few of them. Even he wouldn't be able to detect him. F***ck. Su Yu cursed in his heart. What was going on? The hijacked divine script was still beating. He had spent 2 mountain and sea corpses, and the 1 hour he had spent with the others was almost up. What the hell? The closer I get to those guys, the stronger the hijacked divine script is beating. What does this mean? They can kill me. They can discover me. Su Yu was still a little confident in his ability to hide, but, now that the Culpa script was jumping non-stop, it was somewhat abnormal. He looked into the distance again and frowned slightly. The moment I get closer, it jumps. The moment they get closer, it also jumps non-stop. Does this mean that when I get closer, the other party can possibly know my whereabouts? Track me down. Su Yu's heart skipped a beat. The next moment, he took out the scoreboard. After hesitating for a moment, he wrote, how much would it cost to have Dao Cheng and the others cancel my position? He was a little doubtful. He continued writing, otherwise, I will abandon the scoreboard. I will not conduct any transactions with you guys in the future. He used a skeptical mind to write down his affirmation. This was also the decision he made when dealing with the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Regardless of whether he was skeptical or not, I will take it as an affirmation. As for guessing wrong, then guess wrong. There was nothing to lose. At this moment, in the floating hall on the battlefield of the heavens, the masked man shouted again, Elder, Su Yu has discovered our position on him. What should we do now? He wants to cancel Dao Cheng's position on him. After receiving the money, we can't cancel it. The faceless elder said indifferently, tell him, if he really wants to throw it away, then throw it away. Sooner or later, he will pick it up again. Yes. After finishing his words, the faceless elder shook his head slightly, he is probably just guessing. This human kid is very shrewd. You should be more careful when dealing with him. Although this person is young, he is cunning enough. He is very similar to some old and cunning humans. Hearing his words, the masked man asked curiously, Elder, you're right. A lot of people. Most of the human race is more cunning. There are thousands of races in the universe. The immortal race is deep, the god race is arrogant, the demon race is overbearing, the monster race is reckless, and the human race is cunning. The elder gave his evaluation. This was the basic character of the several powerful races of the 10,000 races. The human race is cunning. The masked man replied to Su Yu while saying, then we have to listen to the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Don't have such thoughts. The faceless elder warned, the 10,000 tribes have always wanted to find our specific tracks. Perhaps some of the experts have already discovered it, but they have hidden it well and want to catch us all in one fell swoop. The most important thing for the Heaven Hunting Pavilion members was to be vigilant. As the contact of the list, you must remember that you must be very careful. You must not leak any information. Once the whereabouts of the headquarters are leaked, it will be a disaster. Understood, Elder. The faceless elder continued, originally, when communicating with a crafty person like Su Yu, we shouldn't have let a newbie like you join. However, now that the division is lacking in manpower and they value you highly, we hope that you can interact more with this human genius and learn a thing or two. Elder, it's just an exchange. Can you learn anything? Of course. Faceless elder smiled and said, isn't it enough? Whether it's him guessing Dao Cheng's identity, or this time guessing our location, you can learn some of the speech skills. Although Su Yu is young, he has learned the essence of the human race. I understand. Just as the heaven hunting pavilion was having a conversation, Su Yu cursed. F***ck. Eat the boss and eat the West. Then, wouldn't my 1 hour of dead soul traction have been wasted? The other party could really confirm my whereabouts. Damn the heaven hunting pavilion. He and the Celestials had paid a huge price, but in the end, they were all taken away by the heaven hunting pavilion. In fact, he and Dao Cheng hadn't gained anything. The list. Su Yu looked at the list and gritted his teeth in his heart. The heaven hunting pavilion did not mind him knowing that he was ranked because of the list because they knew that Su Yu needed this. Anyone needed help. The heaven hunting pavilion had provided Su Yu with a lot of help in such a short period of time. If he really lost the list, would Su Yu bear to do so? Of course, he could get another one later. Therefore, in order to maintain its reputation, the heaven hunting pavilion directly told Su Yu that there was no way to cancel it. He could only abandon the list. He was not afraid that Su Yu would not want it next time. The next time he had this, Su Yu would pick it up again. List, location. Su Yu looked at the little hairy ball in the sea of will again. I just gained some willpower, and you already ate it. Aren't you going to do some work? Hairy ball. Yeah. Hairy ball turned its body. The next moment, it seemed to have realized something and quickly said, I can't go out. If I go out again, Dada will know that I'm out and will come to find me to go home. Su Yu was speechless. Really? Dada, aren't you sleeping in your house? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1661. 1661 Chapter 376, Heavenly Ranking 11, Su Yu, 4. This was what Hairy Ball had said. Big Boss will wake up. I'll keep coming out, keep coming out. Big Boss will know that I've gone out and will come looking for me. I can't go out. Lie to me? Su Yu wasn't too sure. This fellow had said before that his big boss was half-emperor and half-emperor was a title of respect, but at the very least, he was invincible. He wasn't invincible. Half-emperor called Mao. Your big brother is here. Will you kill me? No. You're fragrant. Then will you eat me? I won't eat people, I'll eat fragrant. F***ck. Of course, this guy's big brother wouldn't eat my golden atlas, right? Forget it, I won't let him out. The next moment, a shadow clone appeared beside Su Yu. The list also appeared on the shadow clone. Looking for me, right? Locating me, right? Locating you. Su Yu quickly controlled the shadow clone to escape, preparing to let the shadow clone run with the list. At the same time, the divine text in Dao Cheng's hand revolved, and suddenly, a divine text dripped with blood. Dao Cheng's heart moved, and he sent a voice transmission to Jiu Xian, be careful, it's a great omen. Jiu Xian looked at Dao Cheng, somewhat puzzled, and sent a voice transmission, Su Yu? I'm not sure. Jiu Xian, if we can't kill Su Yu tonight, we'll leave this place early tomorrow morning. If there's any danger later, hide behind Cheng AI and don't separate from him. Brother Dao Cheng, is he that dangerous? Very dangerous. It's very difficult to kill such a person. Modwa, Zhan Wushuang, Xian Wuji. No one on the heaven roll is easy to die. Even if they do, a large number of experts will die. This was the truth and experience. In order to kill Su Yu, 2 mountains and seas and many Ling Yun had already died. Su Yu was still a weak person on the heaven roll. If he wanted to kill someone like Modwa, he would have to die for a few days. He thought of Modwa. Jiu Xian also said, "Brother Dao Cheng, will Modwa attack? He's also in the city." "No, he should be waiting for his opportunity. Unless we disturb him, he will not make a move." Dao Cheng communicated with her for a while and did not say anything more. There was no mistake in being careful. Today, the divination was filled with ominous omens, making him very worried. He had already thought it through. If it did not work out tonight, he would leave tomorrow. In front of him, the flying crane flew in another direction. At this moment, Su Yu was in an ancient house, and he opened a page of an album. Mountain Breaking Ox, 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea Realm. Race Skill, Mountain Breaking Strike, Blood Essence Activation. Mountain Breaking Ox Clan. Su Yu opened the Mountain and Sea page of the Mountain Breaking Ox Clan. 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea Realm. He was glad that he didn't open a stronger one. He couldn't take it. The essence blood of a 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea Realm almost exploded him. This meant that his body hadn't reached that level yet. 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea Realm might have the strength of 30,000 apertures. He only knew that the strength of 10,000 apertures was weaker than that of a 1st level of the Mountain and Sea Realm. The Vanguard Battalion experts of the 5th level of the Mountain and Sea Realm had the strength of 50,000 apertures. The 7th level of the Mountain and Sea Realm had the strength of at least 100,000 apertures. The 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea Realm might have the strength of 30,000 apertures. Su Yu felt a lingering fear. Fortunately, he was not bold enough to consume the blood essence of the 4th layer of the Mountain and Sea Realm. Otherwise, he might have died. He could not consume higher-level blood essence anymore. This was his limit. If it were not for the fact that his body had completed 17 casts, he would not even be able to consume the blood essence of the 3rd layer. What a pity. I still have the blood essence of the 8th layer of the Sun and Moon realm. Su Yu had a regretful look on his face. That was a complete corpse of the celestial race gifted to him by the great Xia mansion. It belonged to the celestial race of Tianyi. If he could consume it, he would be able to unleash the power of the 8th layer of the Sun and Moon with a single drop. That would truly be killing gods and Buddhas. This thing was the true trump card. However, if he were to consume it now, other than death, there was nothing else. After consuming the essence blood, Su Yu walked out of the ancient house. The shadow clone was still running around the city with those fellows. 1 hour was almost up. After calculating the time, there were still about 20 minutes left. The instantaneous explosive power of the 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea realm. His speed wasn't fast enough. His speed wasn't at the 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea realm, which was his weakness. However, he had no choice but to reach the explosive power level. The main reason was that one of them was the peak of the Mountain and Sea realm, Cheng armor. Otherwise, Su Yu wouldn't be so worried. The explosive power of the 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea realm, with a slash of the heaven-splitting blade, it shouldn't be hard to kill a Mountain and Sea realm, right? There were still 4 Mountain and Sea realm experts in the black-armored race. The peak of the Mountain and Sea realm was Qing armor, the 6th level of the Mountain and Sea realm was silver armor, the 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea realm was broken armor, and the 1st level of the Mountain and Sea realm was burning armor. Only 2 of the 6 Mountain and Sea realm experts in the black-armored race had died. Apart from Qing armor and silver armor, the other 2 were confident in killing them. The body forging is still too low. Su Yu silently complained. Even though he had forged his body several times in the past few days, he still felt that it was too slow. Who lied to him back then about how the Sky realm wasn't that dangerous when they came to the heavens battlefield? Su Yu had forgotten that the others would definitely not be like him and come to the ancient city for nothing. They wouldn't even go to the ocean plains. The Sky Realm could still live quite comfortably in the eastern warzone where the humans were. This was the territory of the strong, the gathering place of the geniuses and evildoers. How could it not be dangerous? This time, I'll kill that third level of the mountain and sea realm. He's of the same level as me, and I'll be able to catch him off guard. The key is how to escape. How to escape after killing him was the problem. He was a third level of the mountain and sea realm, and killing a third level of the mountain and sea realm wasn't that difficult. The main problem was his escape route. If I don't kill that third level of the mountain and sea realm, then I'll kill that little fairy. If I run. Su Yu kept calculating how to run from the mountain and sea peak. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1662. 1662 Chapter 376, Heavenly Ranking 11, Su Yu, 5. There's no need to worry too much, just lure him a little further away, and let the shadow clone lure him with the ranking list. At this moment, Su Yu was looking for a good ambush location. He wasn't planning to hide in the air, but underground. He would find a rooftop in an ancient city and lay in ambush. He would slash the sky, kill an expert, and then quickly escape into the surrounding alleys. The prerequisite was that Qing Jia had to stay far away from him. As for Dao Cheng, well, he couldn't beat him. This demon had killed someone at the 5th level of the mountain and sea realm, and was quite terrifying. Then kill that 3rd level of the mountain and sea realm and give me a reward. It would be best if I could quickly forge a physical body. The golden light from last time was actually not bad, much stronger than the Heaven Yuan Qi. Having made up his mind, Su Yu quickly found a place to lay in ambush. He wanted more houses, and he wanted more residents. It would be best if there was an undead spirit hiding in that place for him. Dao Cheng and the others continued to follow the flying crane. They chased after it. Dao Cheng said, "He brought us to run around and might have already discovered us. Everyone, be careful and try not to split up." Su Yu was able to kill a first-level mountain and sea realm expert, but it's also possible that he didn't use all of his strength. Try to follow me and brother Cheng Kai to avoid being schemed against. Qing Jia said in a deep voice, as long as he's surrounded, he's dead for sure. No matter how strong he is, I don't believe he can kill me. Even Modwa couldn't do it. Let alone Su Yu. Dao Qing nodded and didn't say much. It was probably the case. No matter how strong Su Yu was, he wouldn't go to this extent. Killing Qing Jia, he already had half a step into the sun and moon realm. If that really happened, even Invincible wouldn't be able to sit still. It was too fast. They continued to chase. Gradually, Su Yu's speed slowed down. In front, some houses stood side by side. It was a little dark and messy. At this moment, the flying crane was controlled by Dao Cheng, but it was trying its best to fly to that corner. Cheng Armor was overjoyed. That guy finally stopped. Dao Cheng was also in great danger. The divine runes in his hand kept spinning, calculating the pros and cons, as well as the good and bad. Pursuing the good while avoiding the bad was also one of his abilities. There's not much danger ahead. Dao Cheng frowned slightly. There's not much danger ahead. Su Yu was really trapped here. This could be considered the only lucky divination tonight. Qing Jia couldn't hold it in any longer and sent a voice transmission. How is it? There's no danger ahead. Then surround him and kill him quickly. Qing Jia was instantly overjoyed. There wasn't much danger. This was a good thing. Dao Cheng's divination skills were quite good. Dao Cheng frowned slightly and continued to calculate. However, after a night of continuous calculations, his divine runes had also been greatly consumed. Helpless, he could only calculate his own safety. No matter how he calculated, there wasn't much danger. After thinking for a while, he calculated the safety of the first level of the mountain and sea realm. It wasn't much. Then he calculated 9 mysteries, but it didn't seem too dangerous. He already wanted to vomit blood. It wasn't anything else, but he had calculated too much, and the divine runes seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. He couldn't continue calculating. He calculated the weakest mountain and sea realm, calculated himself, calculated 9 mysteries, and he felt that the danger wasn't too great. Thinking of this, he quickly sent a voice transmission. It's best if we all go together and don't stray too far from each other. Pincer attack him from the front and back. Taoist brother Qing armor, pay more attention to your surroundings. Be careful that he doesn't drop the rankings. As he was speaking, a shadow seemed to sense something not too far away and quickly disappeared into thin air. Buzz. Qing Jia couldn't hold it in any longer. Not only had he accomplished nothing that night, 2 mountains and seas had died, and many Lingyun had died. Now that Su Yu wanted to escape, it wasn't that simple. Kill him. Seeing that he had caught up, Dao Qing gritted his teeth and quickly followed suit. Meanwhile, Zhou Xian listened to him and quickly followed Qing Jia. They were all very fast as they flew toward the black shadow. Dao Qing didn't care about the few people at the back. Forget it, they weren't in much danger. Even the weakest mountain and sea wasn't in much danger. These few people flew toward the shadow one after another, and the sound of them breaking through the air resounded throughout the city. Up ahead, the shadow was frightened. It flew at high speed and fled at high speed. Not only that, even the shadow on its body seemed to be illusory, as if it was burning. At this moment, the experts of the first and third levels of the mountain and sea realm teamed up with some Lingyun to chase after them. The few of them had just flown towards a tall building. Just now, Qing armor had flown away from this tall building. Qing armor hadn't even noticed anything. These people wouldn't even investigate anything. At this moment, a ray of white light shot through the sky and earth. Su Yu was using all his strength. Just this one strike. Kill as many as you can. The most pinnacle strike. The most extreme strike. The heaven-splitting blade. This strike seemed to really split the heaven and earth. The ultimate strike of the third level of the mountain and sea realm broke through the heavens. The young aperture was half opened, the strength word divine text was added, the vibration divine text was added, willpower was added, the God expanding technique was added. At this moment, in the city lord's mansion, Tianhe, who was drinking wine, suddenly looked over and muttered, "Heaven-splitting blade." This blade was too familiar. Heaven-splitting blade. In the past, he had seen this blade of the great Xia king. It had broken the heavens and left behind the heaven-breaking valley. In the past, he had seen Xia Longwu's blade kill a sun and moon undead spirit. In an instant, he was also heavily injured and on the verge of death. In fact, he had also seen a few heaven-cleaving blades. Xia Longwu's father's blade had shocked the world, killing a peak sun and moon, killing a group of sun and moon. He had also seen Yi Beishan's blade. With a single blade, the entire area became deathly silent, the sun and moon collapsed, and the mountains and seas collapsed. Today, he had seen the blade of a young genius of the human generation. It shot tens of millions of meters across the ancient city. Su Yu. Su Yu. Tianhe murmured. The blade of the Xia family was always stunning. Those who knew how to use the heaven-splitting blade were no weaklings. The spear of the Qin family and the blade of the Xia family were both peerless in the human race. At this moment, in a huge room, the purple-haired Madonna suddenly opened his eyes and quickly walked out of the room. He instantly saw the blade. He frowned slightly. Heaven-cleaving blade. Whing. Boom. Heaven and earth split apart. Before the blade fell, Ling Yun and the others who had soared into the air were instantly shattered. As the blade fell, the first-level mountain and sea realm expert let out an explosive roar. The power of his acupuncture points erupted, and he broke through the air to flee. The broken armor of the third-level mountain and sea realm instantly transformed into armor, but it was locked onto by this blade. As the blade fell, Suyu had already fled for tens of millions of meters. The blade, however, was still filled with killing intent. With a boom, it slashed down. Bang! The incomparably sturdy armor did not remain. With a boom, it exploded into pieces. Blood splattered everywhere, and the armor was slashed apart by the blade. A cloud suddenly descended thousands of meters away. The cloud disappeared, and Suyu disappeared. In the next moment, a large number of dead souls appeared. At the same time, the dead souls that had been lured away earlier also appeared. On the ground, some of the houses were broken, but they quickly recovered, as if they hadn't been damaged at all. The entire ancient city was seething with a large amount of death qi. At this moment, Qing Jia had just stabbed the shadow into pieces with his spear. His face fell, and he turned his head to look. Without saying anything, he quickly chased after the direction where the clouds had disappeared. Suyu! A fierce roar resounded through the heaven and earth. Suyu! He had killed broken armor. The Black Armor clan was the third mountain and sea clan to fall, and the third level of the mountain and sea realm. He was terrified. At this moment, Dao Qing grabbed Zhou Xian and said in a low voice, "Go, go now." He couldn't continue. It was too terrifying. From killing Ling Yun to killing the first level of the mountain and sea realm, to killing the third level of the mountain and sea realm, 2 days had passed. He had to leave. It was a sign of great danger. At this moment, the heaven roll was also changing rapidly. At this moment, those who had been paying attention to the roll saw Su Yu's name and quickly moved. Heaven roll 11. Su Yu. Killing the third level of the mountain and sea realm, 19 years old, human, Ling Yun first level. Crossing realms, crossing great realms. Not only crossing great realms, but crossing a total of 11 minor realms. He might not be killing an ordinary mountain and sea. At this moment, the heavens shook. At this moment, everyone from the heaven hunting pavilion was shocked. Killed. Killed a third-level mountain and sea realm warrior. Strictly speaking, Suyu was ranked 11th, but he was a little weak. At this moment, he had suffered a little. Once he entered the 7th or 8th level of Lingyun realm and killed a 7th or 8th level mountain and sea realm warrior. Modwa would be 192 years old, based on the age of the human race, he would be close to 22 years old. At that time, would he be able to surpass Modwa? The 4 directions were shaken. Heaven-destroying ancient city was instantly targeted by the Almighty. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1663. 1663 Chapter 377 was finally blocked. LRB subscribe. 1. The blade light landed on the ancient city of heaven destruction. Qing Jia quickly broke through the air and chased after Su Yu. He did not sense where Su Yu was, but at this moment, the clouds had just dissipated when dozens of dead souls suddenly appeared. Su Yu must be there. Boom! Qing Jia stabbed out with his spear, smashing one of the dead souls that was blocking his way away. He directly rushed to the center of the dead souls, but he did not see Su Yu. The surrounding death qi surged over. The corrosive power exploded. The ancient city token on Qing Jia's body burst out with a weak light, helping him to block the death qi. However, there were too many dead souls. In the next moment, Qing Jia was shocked and woke up. He quickly rushed out of the encirclement of the dead souls. Some of the dead souls glanced at him, but they quickly left and continued to chase after Su Yu. Cheng Ho wasn't their main target. Cheng Ho's eyes were cold, and he was in a terrible mood. At this moment, the silver armor of the 6th level of the Mountain and Sea Realm and the burning armor of the 1st level of the Mountain and Sea Realm charged over. The burning armor was also injured, and it wasn't light. There was still some lingering fear in his eyes. At this moment, other than the few of them, the rest of the Ling Yun flying in the air were almost all killed by Su Yu's slash. Ling Yun's flying speed was not as fast as the mountains and seas, so he followed behind. When the blade came down, almost none of them managed to escape. They suffered heavy losses. The Mystic Armor clan had more than 100 people in the ancient city, and the weakest was at the Soaring Realm. There were also quite a number of Ling Yun Realm cultivators, and there were a total of 6 Mountain and Sea Realm cultivators. At this moment, only the 3 of them were left. Qing Jia suddenly looked at Dao Cheng, who was holding Jiu Xian tightly as he prepared to leave. It was very difficult to track Su Yu. Moreover, it was getting more and more dangerous. Qing Armor seemed to have read his mind, and his voice was a little cold as he said, "Brother Dao Cheng, if Su Yu doesn't die, will the myriad races be able to sleep? Don't forget, he's from the Multidivine Literature Department. He's only 19 years old, and he can already kill someone at the 3rd level of the Mountain and Sea Realm. Want to leave? You're already at this point, and you still want to leave?" Dao Cheng looked at him and was silent for a while. "I need more experts to support me. Right now, it was very dangerous. Only Qing Jia could firmly suppress Su Yu in this place. He and the silver-armored 6th level of the Mountain and Sea Realm might not be able to suppress Su Yu. Furthermore, they were in such a complicated environment like the ancient city. Qing Jia's senses were too weak, and he couldn't detect Su Yu. This was very dangerous. With a 3rd-level Mountain and Sea Realm warrior dead, he had to be careful. After a few more sneak attacks like this, he was certain that Jiu Xian or Fen Jia would be next. It was fine if Fen Jia was dead, but if Jiu Xian was dead, that would be a big problem. Therefore, he had to leave. Qing Jia didn't say anything. He looked at the thick aura of death ahead. Actually, Su Yu was almost 100% surrounded by the dead spirits. But now, what should he do? Charge in. He suddenly looked at Dao Cheng. The black-armored race doesn't have a strong suppression on the dead spirits. On the contrary, it's easy for us to be surrounded, corroded, and devoured by the dead spirits. But the immortals have always been the natural enemies of the dead spirits. Brother Dao Cheng, why don't you go in and take a look? I'll protect Fairy Jiuxuan. These 2 immortals couldn't think of anything. How could it be possible? It was one thing if Jiuxuan was weaker, but Dao Cheng wasn't weak at all. Su Yu had killed a 3rd-level Mountain and Sea cultivator, while you had killed a 5th-level Mountain and Sea cultivator. The dead spirits had great restraint on other races, and the immortals and immortals had ways to restrain the dead spirits. This was something that the black-armored race was clear about. Qing Jia said coldly, "Brother Dao Cheng, in order to capture Su Yu, our race lost 3 mountains and seas, many Ling Yun, and Brother Dao Cheng isn't willing to do anything at all. Su Yu must be surrounded by the undead. He hasn't died yet, so there must be a way to deal with the aura of death. As for me, once I'm trapped, even if I have the ancient city token, because my level isn't high enough, I'll be suppressed by the undead. Brother Dao Cheng, what do you think?" He looked at Dao Cheng coldly. "Our clan lost 3 mountains and seas, close to 20 Ling Yun experts. Doesn't the immortal clan want to leave now? What were you thinking? You were the ones who wanted to capture Su Yu, and you were the ones who wanted to run away. The ones who died in the end were the black-armored race. Were the immortals too arrogant?" Seeing that Dao Cheng didn't reply, Qing Jia said coldly again, "Su Yu didn't die, and it's fine. Our tribe is willing to compensate 100 drops of black-yellow liquid to resolve this enmity. Green armor, red armor, and the others were killed because they deserved it. What do you think, brother Dao Cheng? Dao Cheng looked at him deeply. This was the general himself. Your clan and Tianzhu king. Before he could finish, Qing Jia said coldly, it doesn't matter. If the clan leader makes a decision, it will be an alliance. I believe that the human clan will make a concession. Brother Qing Jia, you can represent the Black Armor King? No. Qing Jia said coldly, however, as the person in charge of the ancient city at this moment, I will truthfully report everything that happened today to the clan leader. I have seen the humans, gods, immortals, and devils, but I have not seen the strength of the immortals. The meaning in his words was very clear. You, the immortal race, since you cannot give us what we want to see, then I'm sorry, we will not play with you anymore. We will accept the deaths of a few mountains and seas. Not only will we accept, but we will also compensate Suyu with 100 drops of extremely precious sun and moon mystic yellow liquid. The myriad races will rely on the various powerful clans, and rely on the various powerful clans, and that will also depend on the performance of the various races. It was not mindless dependence. The immortals could not bring them any benefits or show them any strength. Why should they rely on the immortals? Dao Qing glanced at him and did not say anything. Jiu Xian could not help but shout, Dao brother Cheng, do you mean that the immortals are inferior to the humans? Qing Jia said indifferently, at least for now. The two chosen ones killed mountains and seas, but they were fooled by Su Yu. As for me, I'm just an old piece of trash from the black-armored race. My race is inferior to the humans to begin with, and we are no match for the humans. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1664. 1664 Chapter 377 was finally blocked, LRB subscribe, too. It was that simple. So what if he admitted that the black-armored race was trash? They were inferior to the human race to begin with. After Zhengping appeared, they had given up on pursuing Su Yu this time. It was guaranteed by the Celestials that killing Su Yu would be fine. The Celestials would bear all the responsibility. The black-armored race also wanted to take the opportunity to draw close to the Celestials. This race was very strong. However, no matter how strong they were, if they were unwilling to contribute, the black-armored race was not stupid. Chen Kai said coldly, Brother Dao Cheng and Fairy Jiushuan can leave now. If you leave, the black-armored race will reconcile with Su Yu. At this point, the immortals could no longer think of cozying up to the black-armored race. He could not represent the black-armored king, but he would report everything today. He would try his best to persuade them not to form an alliance with the immortals. The immortals were too cold-blooded and selfish. They could not bring any benefits to the black-armored race. They could only bring disaster. Dao Cheng took a deep breath. He knew that he had been checkmated. If he left today, he might lose the alliance with the Mystic Armor clan. He could not bear the responsibility of the top 100 clans leaving the alliance with the Celestials. I can stay. Dao Cheng took a deep breath. But Jiushuan can't. Her strength is not as good as Su Yu's. She might be assassinated. If Jiushuan dies, the Mystic Armor clan won't benefit at all. Chen Kai said coldly, death might be better. Brother Dao Cheng, if our race can die, so can the Celestials. If we die, your race might fight with Su Yu to the death. Don't blame me for being realistic. That's the truth. Otherwise, if our race fights with Su Yu, your race will stand up and say that the human immortals are the alliance. How can the black-armored race stand on their own? He could not wait for a genius to die in the immortal race. If he died, so be it. Would the immortal race abandon their cooperation with the black-armored race for the sake of a genius? Impossible. Even if Jiu Xian Dao Cheng's faction was dissatisfied, this faction did not represent the entire immortal race. Dao Cheng looked at him coldly. Brother Cheng, there's no need to do this. How about this? From now on, you and I will go kill Su Yu. Jiu Xian, Silver Armor, and Fan Armor will stay together at all times. With the three of them working together, Silver Armor is at the 6th level of the Mountain and Sea realm. For Jiu Xian, and also for Fan Armor and the others. What do you think, Brother Cheng? Cheng Armor thought for a moment, then said indifferently, sure. I also want to see the strength of Dao Cheng, the proud son of the immortals. Brother Dao Cheng. Jiuxuan sent a voice transmission. Dao Cheng quickly sent a voice transmission. Be careful, don't say anything. We can't leave now. Cheng Armor was so angry that he lost 3 mountains and seas. I didn't think it through before. Once we leave, the black armored race will probably choose to admit defeat, compromise, and even side with the human race. This is not good for our race. This was how the 10,000 races were. Killing was normal. However, if you were afraid of being killed, and if you felt that the other party was very strong, then it wasn't strange for them to side with you. Not to mention other things, because of Modwa Na's strength and power, over the past few years, several small races among the 10,000 races had chosen to side with the incipient demon race. It was because the younger generation of this race was too powerful, it allowed them to see how powerful the incipient demon clan was. In the face of the survival of the clan, it was not difficult to endure the death of a few clansmen. Therefore, Dao Cheng could not leave. If he left, the alliance between the Black Armored clan and the Immortal clan would become a joke. Your clan wanted to kill Su Yu, but in the end, the Black Armored clan lost a few mountains and seas and a number of Ling Yun. If you ran away when you had nothing to do, it would cause the subordinate clans to feel a chill down their spines. Dao Cheng looked at the ball of death chi over there. At this moment, he also knew that Su Yu was definitely in this ball of death chi. Perhaps he was fighting with the dead spirits, and the other party definitely had a way to restrain the death chi. Perhaps it was a large amount of heaven origin chi or some special divine runes. Regardless, this fellow had not chosen to enter the ancient house until now. Instead, he was fighting with the dead spirits here, which meant that he was not that afraid of the dead spirits. Dao Cheng's fingers spun the divine runes. A moment later, his face turned slightly pale as he said, Su Yu must be among them. I'll go in and have a look. If I really can't do it, I'll choose to call for help and have our genius, Xian Wuji, come. Xian Wuji was an expert ranked 4th on the heaven roll. He was an existence at the 3rd level of the mountain and sea realm, an existence at the 9th level of the mountain and sea realm. He killed people who were 6 minor levels higher. Of course, the stronger one was, the harder it was to cross levels. The 3rd level of the mountain and sea realm could only be considered as the beginning of the mountain and sea realm. Xian Wuji of the celestial race could kill someone at the peak of the mountain and sea realm. He was also a true heaven's favorite. To be able to kill someone at the 9th level of the mountain and sea realm meant that his strength was not weaker than half a step to the sun and moon realm. At least he was stronger than Qing Jia. When Qing Jia heard what he said, he was not so angry anymore. He said calmly, for the sake of Su Yu, do you still need Xian Wuji to make a move? Brother Dao Cheng, as long as you beat Su Yu out of the dead soul core, I will kill him. He was afraid of the dead souls, not Su Yu's strength. Su Yu could kill a 3rd level mountain and sea realm warrior, which shocked him, but he was not afraid yet. Dao Cheng pondered for a moment and said, I will try my best. After saying that, he did not say anything more. He took a step in the air and walked over. Su Yu was a great disaster. At this moment, Su Yu was surrounded by the dead souls, and he had a huge headache. These dead souls didn't seem to have any killing techniques, and their fighting methods were simple. They just continuously shot out death chi. However, there were so many dead souls, and there were a few powerful ones among them. After a few rounds, his heaven yuan qi had been greatly depleted. Of course, at this moment, his body was surrounded by golden light. This was the reward from killing the third level of the mountain and sea realm. Just like last time, it was a golden light that tempered his body, and the effect was very good. The quantity was also very large. However, Suyu was also very helpless when he was being entangled by so many undead. He wanted to run away, but there was death qi everywhere. He had lost the sub-ranking as well. It was no longer possible to trade with the heaven hunting pavilion now. Suyu continued to drag the undead away. His body was also continuously strengthening. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1665. 1665 Chapter 377 was finally blocked. LRB, please subscribe. 3. He, who had just cast 17, was now on the verge of casting 18. As expected, killing was the best way to cultivate. It was good that there were too many dead souls. At least those guys didn't dare to barge in. Just as he was thinking, a figure appeared outside the group of dead souls. His black robe was torn, revealing his golden robe. On the outside, Dao Cheng looked at the faint voice coming from inside and said, Suyu, the human and immortal races are allies. I'll invite you to the immortal world as a guest again. Are you willing? I'm willing, your grandpa. Suyu sneered, what are you pretending for? Dao Cheng, right? You still want to play this game with me at this time? You're so hypocritical. Why don't you just say that you want to kill me? Then I'll look up to you. Dao Cheng didn't say anything. He took a step forward, and the aura of death surrounded him. However, Dao Cheng's golden robe flickered with light, resisting the aura of death. His body also emitted a faint amount of heaven origin qi, counteracting the corrosion of the aura of death. He walked past the dead spirits, wearing the ancient city token, which allowed the dead spirits to avoid him. Soon, he saw Suyu, who was surrounded. Suyu also saw this guy. Dao Cheng, 9th level of Lingyun realm. Suyu saw him after killing a 5th level of the mountain and sea realm. He looked very young and asked curiously, you're only 9th on the earth roll, so low in rank? Dao Cheng gave him the feeling that he was still in danger. Dao Cheng said calmly, I'm not good at fighting. Killing a 5th level of the mountain and sea realm is just a coincidence. With external factors and my age, I'm naturally not as good as you guys. Is that so? Suyu smiled. I feel that you're stronger than an Min Tian from the celestial race. He's ranked 6th on the earth roll. No, he's ranked 7th now. Are you inferior to him? An Min Tian was ranked 6th on the earth roll, but now he was ranked 7th, ahead of this guy. The strength of a 2nd level mountain and sea realm warrior had killed a 4th level mountain and sea realm warrior. Dao Cheng said with a faint smile, An Min Tian. An Min Tian is younger than me, and he's only from the ice and snow celestial race, not the primitive celestial race. Otherwise, his ranking wouldn't be so high. Suyu thought for a while and nodded, I see. There's also this rule on this list. The weaker the race, the stronger they are, the higher their ranking, right? Weak? Dao Cheng thought for a while, then nodded and smiled. Was the snow god race weak? They weren't weak at all. However, the person in front of him was Suyu, a genius on the heaven roll. He continued to walk closer to Suyu, while Suyu kept retreating. He actually wanted to test Dao Cheng's strength, but he still felt that it was very dangerous. The Calamity Divine script was also pulsating, which meant that this fellow was more dangerous than he looked. The death qi in the surroundings became denser, and the corroded bodies of the two emitted large amounts of golden light and heaven yuan qi fluctuations. Looks like you brought quite a lot of good stuff this time. Dao Cheng continued walking and said with a smile, Suyu, I'm curious. Why don't you find an ancient house to hide? Do you think you can beat me? I can't. Su Yu said frankly, I like to take the initiative and find an ancient house for you guys to hunt me down. Moreover, you can't kill me. You're really confident. Dao Qing smiled. At this moment, Su Yu quickly turned into a gale and disappeared from the spot. At the same time, a crack suddenly appeared where Su Yu was. One of the divine runes in Dao Cheng's hand cracked slightly. Seeing that he had escaped, he frowned slightly. Su Yu, didn't you say that you're not afraid of me? Didn't you say that I can't kill you? Then why are you still running? I'm just saying. As he finished speaking, an illusion appeared. With a boom, Su Yu coughed up blood, and the blood-red divine runes trembled. Dao Qing directly broke the illusion. Civilized master. He knew that the other party was a civilized master. Of course, the immortals called him an immortal master. He just didn't expect that this guy's divine writing and willpower would be so powerful. He instantly broke through his illusion. Su Yu quickly fled, and behind him, Dao Qing once again attached himself. I sincerely invite you to be my guest. Why bother? At this moment, his golden robe was constantly surrounded by death qi. Around him, the dead spirits looked at him as if they were hesitating whether to attack him. Dao Qing was helpless. Undead spirits were very troublesome things. The consumption was too great. Even he did not carry much heaven yuan qi with him. Su Yu had been entangled in the aura of death for so long, but he was still able to hold on. Could it be that this fellow had uprooted a heaven yuan fruit tree of the war god hall or the quest realm? Just as he was thinking, a divine symbol appeared in Dao Cheng's hand again, and with a loud boom. A golden light appeared in his hand, and he grabbed a huge hammer. Divine augmentation technique. Dao Cheng's willpower trembled slightly, and he shouted in a low voice. The golden light in his hand became denser, and he grabbed the huge hammer. The huge hammer, which had always been strong, was now showing signs of being crushed. At this moment, the hammer turned into a long saber, and with a boom, it charged out again. Burning sky-burning flames. Dao Qing frowned and let out a low shout. A streak of frost appeared in his hand. With a poochie sound, the flames were extinguished. Another divine script appeared. With a bang, it sent the long blade flying. Dao Qing took a few steps back slightly. This isn't the strength that a first-level Ling Yun should have. Your willpower has long surpassed that of a first-level Ling Yun. Your multi-divine script battle technique looks like it's not too mature. It's not as powerful as some multi-divine script civilized masters. Su Yu did not reply and continued to flee towards the inner area. From time to time, he would fight back and exchange blows with his willpower. However, he was always at a disadvantage and was completely suppressed by Dao Qing. This time, Su Yu did not gain any advantage in the clash of willpower. Dao Cheng's willpower was too strong. Even the God-expanding hammer could not move. The multi-divine literature battle technique only slightly shook him, but it was very difficult to heavily injure him. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1666. 1666 Chapter 377 was finally blocked. LRB subscribe, 4. Moreover, this guy had many tricks up his sleeve. If Su Yu didn't have the Calamity Divine script, he would have been killed several times by his space slicing technique. From time to time, a space slicing crack would appear. While the two were fighting, an undead didn't seem very strong. In an instant it was sliced into two by Dao Cheng's space slicing crack. In an instant, a large amount of death aura spread in all directions. Su Yu and Dao Cheng were both covered by the death qi, and a large amount of death qi invaded the two of them. Dao Cheng's face was a bit dark. He felt helpless. This was all he could do in this fight. As expected, in the next moment, 7 or 8 dead souls suddenly appeared in the air. This time, they were staring at Dao Cheng. He had killed one of the dead souls, so he was in big trouble. He couldn't afford to provoke a dead soul. At this time, there were more than 30 dead spirits surrounding the two of them. None of them were too strong, but the large amount of death qi had already corroded Su Yu and Dao Cheng, and they couldn't take it anymore. If it had been an ordinary person, even the mountains and seas would have been killed by the death qi. Su Yu once again swallowed a drop of the third level of the mountains and seas essence blood, and suddenly slashed out with his saber. Dao Cheng let out a low growl, and a long sword instantly appeared in his palm. He slashed out with his sword, and with a loud bang, the saber qi dissipated, but the sword qi continued to attack Su Yu. Innate blood essence. Dao Cheng's eyes flickered with a divine light. This guy Su Yu really had a lot of tricks up his sleeve. This wasn't the main point. The main point was that this guy's physical body could actually withstand the explosive power of a third level of the mountain and sea realm. This meant that Su Yu's actual physical body realm wasn't low either, and his physical body was very strong. The aperture of the heavenly cycle. It was indeed terrifying. Su Yu ignored him and continued to fight with him. Although he wasn't a match for Dao Cheng, he wasn't completely beaten to death. Right at this moment, Su Yu's expression changed drastically. He instantly turned into a shadow and fled. With a rumble, a few undead spirits were sent flying in all directions. Qing Jia instantly appeared on the spot and frowned slightly. He has an extremely sensitive divine symbol or something else. After saying that, he looked at Dao Cheng and said, "You can't take him down." Even after being entangled for so long, Dao Cheng was still unable to take him down. This made him very disappointed. After saying that, Qing Ai did not wait for him to reply and quickly disappeared. The dead souls had surrounded him. He did not want to kill the dead souls and cause trouble for himself. Dao Cheng looked at the dead souls around him and sighed, "There are too many dead souls that are hindering me. I need to find an ancient house to remove some of the death aura." Su Yu has a large amount of heaven yuan qi on him. Brother Qing Ai, continue to track him and exhaust his heaven yuan qi. Qing Jia said faintly, "I know. Also, my ancient city token is useless. I can find the city lord and borrow his ancient city token. These dead souls that are soaring in the sky won't harm and corrode us anymore." The city lord of Milky Way City naturally had an ancient city token after becoming the city lord, and its level was very high. Not only would these weak dead souls not attack him, but they would also obey his orders. This was the scariest part. Qing Jia was also getting impatient. If he couldn't do it, he would borrow it from the city lord. If he couldn't borrow it, if the immortals really wanted to borrow it, couldn't he? And at this moment, Su Yu didn't care about this. He couldn't hold on any longer. Run. He could just find an ancient house to hide. As for being trapped inside, that was something that couldn't be helped. If he didn't run, he would be in trouble. He had used up too much heaven yuan qi. He needed to continue extracting some blood essence to replenish the heaven yuan qi that he had used up. Of course, before he ran, he still had things to do. He did not kill anyone. He had to go find the ranking board that he had left behind. It had to be said that without the ranking board, it was very troublesome. Even if he wanted to trade with the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, he could not do so. Su Yu had to admit that the other party was confident that he could take the ranking board again, that was because he was confident. Su Yu had only come into contact with it a few times, but he felt that this thing could not be lost. He had to keep it, even if it would be located. Su Yu brought a large number of dead souls and continued to circle around. Very soon, he found the missing list. No one wanted this thing, so it was not of much use. He could only look at the list and make some deals with the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. After receiving the list, Su Yu also felt that there were people following him from the outside. They were either Qing Armor or Dao Cheng, so he could not be bothered to care about them. He quickly landed on the ground and escaped. In the blink of an eye, he entered the 18th ring and entered a house that looked like an ancient human house. Suyu didn't choose to leave. The current him could actually leave the city and run away. However, leaving the city would be courting death. If he left the city, without the undead wouldn't chase after him. Once Qingjia caught up, he wouldn't be able to run as fast as Qingjia. At that time, he would truly be courting death. He wasn't a match for the peak of the mountain and sea realm. He might as well continue to stay in the ancient city. Qingjia was not a resident, and he had been here for 2 days. At night, the aura of death was eroding. Even with the ancient city token, could this fellow last longer than him? After Qingjia left, it would not be too late for him to leave. In any case, he still had Heaven Yuan Qi. It all depended on who could outlast who. As for these people asking for help, Suyu was not too worried. If they could ask for help, he could ask for help. At this point, if he was trapped, then he could ask for help. Not to mention anything else, the Daming Mansion should at least send a sun and moon to save his life. If he really could not do it, he could just spend money to save his life in the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. Suyu also had a clear plan. In short, he would not die if he fought in the city. If he left the city, he might die very quickly. He did not want to waste his physical body just to risk his life for Qing armor. It was not worth it. Outside the door, the dead gathered and began to knock on the door. Qingjia quickly brought along silver armor and the others. Qingjia heaved a sigh of relief. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1667. 1667 Chapter 377 was finally blocked. LRB subscribe, 5. After running all night, this guy was finally blocked. Since he had entered the house and wanted to come out again, it wouldn't be that simple. At this moment, the sky was already bright. Using the lives of 3 mountains and seas in exchange for Suyu being blocked in the house, Qingjia didn't even know if it was worth it. If he could kill Suyu, the 3 mountains and seas would actually be worth it. Within the 18th ring, Suyu was trapped. Soon, the sky brightened. Some creatures cautiously went out to investigate the situation. In the inner ring, some experts weren't that careful. Some creatures simply observed from a distance. Very quickly, news spread that Suyu had been trapped by the Black-Armored clan. Trapped in the ancient house. The news quickly spread in all directions. Sea of Desire Plain. Zhengping had just killed a few experts and was covered in blood. The voice transmission talisman on his body vibrated for a moment and he took it out to take a look. He was speechless. He looked at Huang Teng beside him and sighed. Suyu is in trouble. He was blocked in the ancient house by the peak of the mountain and sea realm of the Black Armor clan. Now, experts from all clans are rushing to destroy the ancient city. This guy. Why doesn't he stop? Huang Teng was also surprised. He was trapped. He thought that Suyu would be able to escape. He had seen the changes in the list. This guy was terrifying. Last night, he had killed a 3rd level of the mountain and sea realm. Since that was the case, he should have had time to escape, right? However, after thinking about it, escaping might kill him even faster. If it were him, what choice would he make? Thinking of this, Huang Ting smiled. Teacher, why don't we go and take a look? What are you looking at? Zhengping said unhappily, I'll send you back to the East Rift Valley first, then I'll come back to take a look. This journey is not peaceful. After saying that, he said, you should be careful too. This time, when we came to the Sea of Desire Plains, my desire to kill was bursting. Be careful that if I'm not careful, I'll kill you too. The Sea of Desire Plains was not a good place. Huang Ting thought about it and could only nod. Forget it, let's go back first. At least send Wuxia back. This woman was about to die. Actually, he still wanted to go and take a look. His strength was not weak, and he had killed many mountains and seas. If he really wanted to join in the fun, it would not be so easy for him to get into trouble. At the same time. Human realm. 13 shadows flew forward at high speed. The voice transmission talisman on the leader of the shadows vibrated for a moment. He quickly looked at it and said, "Hurry up, that guy is trapped in the ancient house. His Excellency told us to rush there in 3 days." 3 days was a very difficult thing to do from the Great Ming Mansion to the Heavens battlefield and then to the ancient Heaven Destruction City. However, at this moment, An Ying and the others could only listen to his orders. They had to go all out. 6 Sun Moon Realm experts and 7 Peak Mountain and Sea Realm experts were there to rescue Su Yu. The others didn't say anything either. A few Peak Mountain and Sea Realm experts grabbed the arms of the Sun Moon Realm experts and told them to go all out. They had to arrive at Heaven Destruction City within 3 days. At the same time. Twin Saint Mansions. Yi Hongyan walked out of the mansions, not saying a word. That old fellow hadn't paid him any attention for many years, and this time, he actually asked him to save Su Yu. Yi Hongyan snorted coldly in his heart, and even felt a little proud of himself. At a critical moment, you still have to beg me. Su Yu. That kid really knows how to cause trouble. He had only left for a short while, but he had already caused a big trouble on the heavenly battlefield. Now, the experts from all races were rushing over. You, a multi-god literature department expert, didn't know how to behave yourself. There were also some indescribable emotions, the trouble of the multi-god literature department. Strictly speaking, it had something to do with his nephew. Before his nephew became famous, how could the multi-god literature department have so much trouble? In the end, it was actually a mess left behind by Yi Batian. Because of Yi Batian, all the worlds feared the rise of the human polytheistic literature department's experts. It caused Hong Tan and the others to have to go to the heavenly battlefield in secret. And now that Su Yu was on the heaven roll in an instant, it would be strange if it wasn't troublesome. If it was another fighter, it would definitely not be that troublesome. The 10,000 clans would kill their opponents if they could. If they couldn't kill them, then forget it. At most, they would have an invincible opponent. So what? Xia Longwu and the others were also incomparably powerful and talented. They had never seen the experts of the 10,000 races shouting and shouting. In the later stages of the battle, it was because Xia Longwu's killing intent was too heavy. Yi Hongyan left, and the shadow guards rushed over. At this moment. In the human camp. The great Qin King looked at the intelligence report and said indifferently, "Don't bother. Don't bother about the disputes under eternity. Moreover, the matters in the ancient city are somewhat complicated. If eternity is involved, it will be even more troublesome." Below him was his second son, the general of the Vanguard Battalion, Qin Hao. Hearing his father's words, he said solemnly, "Father, is the ancient city that dangerous?" The great Qin King pondered for a moment and said, "It's not dangerous, but the situation over at the ancient city is complicated. The ancient city is actually responsible for guarding some things, you don't understand. Furthermore, there's the master of the ancient city over there. If we rashly get involved, it'll easily cause the ancient city's echelon to attack us. We can only rely on eternity to resolve this matter." Qin Hao thought for a moment and said, "Then why don't I bring some of the Vanguard Battalion's experts over?" The great Qin King looked at him and said in a low voice, "We can't take the Vanguard Battalion away. We still have to guard the East Rift Valley. Once the East Rift Valley is destroyed, the losses will be even greater. That Su Yu doesn't care anymore." Qin Hao looked at his father. This was a top-notch genius of the multi-divine literature department. The great Qin King lightly said, "It doesn't matter, there seems to be a guy over there. Let's see how Suyu can save himself. If he can't save himself, then he'll be in danger. He's also an idiot, so good luck to him. If he didn't have some ability, why did he have to cause so much trouble? Unless there was really another invincible person interfering, he wouldn't care. Thinking of this, the great Qin king lightly said, "These few days, I'll go to the border to patrol and stop the experts of various races. As for the rest, he'll take responsibility for his own actions." Invincible did not want to participate in this. Otherwise, the Battle of Invincible would have already started. Whether Suyu could survive this would depend on himself and how the Great Ming and Great Xia forces contributed. As for the rest, he had no way of getting involved. Moreover, the probability of something happening was not high. A few days ago, he seemed to have sensed the existence of a certain fellow. It seemed that he was also heading in that direction. Qin Hao saw his father said so, had to nod, no longer said anything. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1668. 1668 Chapter 378 Suyu's Ace in the Hole 1. Heaven-destroying city. Suyu entered the house. A moment later, Dao Qing arrived. At this moment, there were still a few undead spirits around Dao Qing staring at him, which made Dao Qing feel a little helpless. Qing Jia looked at him and said in a deep voice, "The person is blocked. Brother Dao Qing, I hope you can go and talk to the city lord. With the city lord's ancient city token, you will definitely be able to open the 18-ring ancient house. If he opened it, Suyu would be dead for sure." There was nowhere to run. Dao Qing was silent for a moment, then nodded. "Then I'll try. Brother Qing Jia, keep an eye on Suyu. He's sneaky. Be careful that he doesn't get away." "Don't worry." Qing Jia didn't say much. He was a peak mountain and sea expert, and he was just standing guard at the door. If Suyu got away, then he wouldn't be able to survive. Dao Qing didn't say anything else. He turned around and left. A few dead spirits followed him. This was the price to pay for killing the dead spirits. However, it wasn't impossible to solve the problem. After completely eliminating the aura of death, he would be able to leave the ancient city for a period of time and erase his mark. That wouldn't be a big problem. At this moment, he could only use Heaven Yuan Qi to continuously eliminate the aura of death brought by these dead spirits. Soon, he arrived at the city lord's mansion. The city lord's residence was also an ancient house, and the main door was open. As for the few dead spirits that followed him, they suddenly stopped at the main door and stopped following him. Dao Qing let out a slight sigh of relief. It was fine as long as they did not continue following him. From the looks of it, the city lord's residence still had some power to suppress these dead spirits. He quickly entered the door. At the door, 8 guards were dressed in armor and looked like dead people. They did not move at all. When he stepped through the main door, someone suddenly stretched out a hand to stop him. With a heavy death aura, he said, "My lord has ordered that the ancient city of heaven destruction will not participate in the battle of the powerful clans." Dao Qing frowned slightly and quickly relaxed his brows. He said in a clear voice, "Dao Qing has no such intention. He only wants to borrow the city lord token for a temporary use. He will return it very soon. Or, he can borrow an ancient city token that has 18 rings or less." At this moment, in the city lord's main hall, an old man was walking slowly from the main hall. He looked slow, but his speed was not slow. After a while, he appeared at the city gate. He looked at Dao Qing and smiled, revealing his teeth that were missing a few teeth. "Dao Qing has become an immortal lord. The city lord has given orders not to involve the war of 10,000 races. If you borrow it, the immortal lord will open the ancient house and kill Suyu. The invincible human race has come. Even the lord cannot bear the revenge of the human race." Dao Qing frowned and said softly, the immortal race. Before he could finish, the toothless old man smiled and said, if the immortal world kills the great Qin king, the great Xia king, the great Ming king, and the great Zhou king now, I will destroy the ancient city and obey your orders. If you didn't kill these people, then don't talk nonsense. The immortals. What was the use of the immortals? The ancient city of heaven destruction could not escape. Speaking of which, the black armored race was better off. After all, they had their own great world. The black armored race could run back and hide, but where could they hide? Dao Qing said in a deep voice, I'm just borrowing the ancient city token. An immortal lord can kill a mountain and sea dead spirit. Under normal circumstances, if nothing goes wrong, a mountain and sea dead spirit will have an ancient city token in the 18th ring. They can take it from themselves. Dao Qing didn't say anything. If it was that simple, then it wouldn't be an ancient city. Killing a mountain and sea dead spirit might provoke a sun and moon dead spirit to take revenge. If he could deal with the sun and moon dead spirit, he would have destroyed the ancient city long ago. He wouldn't have waited until now. If he encountered the aura of death that erupted from the sun and moon dead spirit, he would most likely be instantly melted. Can't we compromise? The old man gritted his teeth, he smiled and said, little immortal lord, we really can't. After killing Su Yu, you can leave, and the black armored race can return to the great world. What should we do? Right now, we have already opened the door to great convenience. We can't force someone to become an immortal lord again and again, right? Although the ancient city is weak and can't match the immortal race, there are many ancient cities in the myriad heavens battlefield. Little immortal lord, why bother? If you insist on forcing the city lord, then it won't look good. Soft but hard. Only by giving you face can you cause trouble in the city. You even went so far as to ask to borrow the ancient city token. The ancient city isn't as powerful as your immortal race, but you should also think clearly. The ancient city isn't just one. There are dozens of ancient cities in the myriad heavens battlefield. If it really comes to a critical moment, it's not impossible for them to join forces. They had forced everyone into an ugly state. Had the immortal race thought about offending so many people? Dao Qing sighed slightly. The immortal race that had always been successful did not work everywhere. If this was a genius from a small clan, the city lord of Milky Way City would definitely open the door for the immortal race. However, this was the powerful human race. The old man smiled again and said, in addition, the city lord asked me to tell the immortal lord that although he does not care, this ancient city has its own rules. The small-scale uprising of the dead souls has already awakened some ancient dead souls that are sleeping, the ones that appear now are all formed later. Once the ancient dead souls are awakened, I think the immortal lord should know a thing or two about the consequences. Dao Qing frowned slightly and said, the ancient dead souls were awakened? How can that be? Up until now, we haven't killed the dead souls. I killed a floating dead soul by mistake. How can it attract the attention of the ancient dead souls? The old man said indifferently, then I don't know. It might be that the change this time is bigger. Once the ancient undead appear, we will seal the city lord's mansion. At that time, the city gate might be sealed automatically. Immortal lord, think about it yourself. Dao Qing nodded and sighed. He didn't say anything more and turned to leave. He couldn't borrow it anymore. After he left, the old man smiled and quickly returned to the city lord's main hall. Tianhe was drinking wine. The old man bowed slightly and said, my lord, he has already left. Tianhe drank his wine and said faintly, do you have the intention of giving up? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1669. 1669 Chapter 378 Su Yu's Ace in the Hole 2. It's hard to say. Tianhe said with a faint smile, get rid of them as soon as possible. These geniuses are fighting here. It's a mess. If some powerful undead spirits are drawn out and some invincible ones are alarmed, the ancient city of heaven destruction will soon be in chaos. This is not the result I want to see. This old servant understands. The old man replied, then, he said, Su Yu is trapped in the house. He won't be able to hold on for long. The ancient house with the 18th ring has a dense aura of death. Even if he enters through the main city gate and carries some heaven yuan qi with him, he won't be able to hold on for 3 to 5 days. This is already the second day since he entered the city. Once Su Yu died, the old man was not sure if it would trigger some experts to come here and start a massacre. As he spoke, the old man said, Sir, why don't we expel them all? Expel? Tian he held his wine cup, he smiled faintly and said, no need. The ancient city expelled the geniuses, and those large clans have something to say. Su Yu might not be satisfied, and the immortal clan might not be satisfied either. Instead, they have offended both sides. Since they want to fight, let them kill. As he spoke, he smiled and said, there's no need to care about them. Several Mountain Sea Realm experts have died in a row, and dozens of Ling Yun have soared into the sky. Once they awaken an ancient dead spirit, I want to see how many lives they can sacrifice. Make preparations to seal the city lord's manor. The other residents, inform them that they should try not to go out for the next few days. As for outsiders, they can only pray for their own good fortune. Death is their fate. Yes, my lord. The old man quickly retreated. After he left, the city lord of Tianhe City glanced at Su Yu and smiled. He did not look at them anymore, nor did he bother about them. If you want to kill them, then kill them. In the end, the ones who would suffer the most would still be you. If you really saw the ancient city as that simple, then Invincible would no longer be afraid of the ancient city. In the ancient house. This was a large house. The house in the courtyard was 2 stories tall. A small wooden building. In front of the door, there was another courtyard. However, there were no trees. There were only 2 wooden stakes that had dried up. It was as if they had been dead for countless years. On both sides of the small building, there were also houses. One should be the kitchen, and the other should be the place where the mount stayed. Su Yu looked around. It was daytime outside, so there was not much death aura. However, even in the daytime, there was still some death aura. It seemed to be no less than the death aura in the outer ring at night. At night, it would probably be terrifyingly dense. As expected, the closer the room was to the inner ring, the stronger the death chi was. Maudwa Na had said that he had been to the 18th ring of an ancient city last time. Su Yu did not know how long he had stayed there. At this moment, his body was transforming. He did not know what that golden light was, but the effect of body tempering was even better than the heaven yuan qi. Su Yu was not in a hurry to cultivate and dissolve the death qi. Instead, he took out the ranking board and began typing. The golden light that heaven and earth reward can help people cast their bodies. What is that? There is a fee. Money is a must. I am a regular customer. Don't I have any discounts? The ranking board was silent for a moment before a line of words appeared. That is heaven and earth mystic light. It is the same treasure as the sun-moon mystic yellow liquid. It is very helpful to the body casting of the opponent. Su Yu understood. Heaven and earth mystic light. It sounded pretty good. The body forging effect was indeed pretty good. Thinking of this, he asked again, are you selling this? Yes. What's the price? The heaven and earth mystic light can only be captured by top-tier experts in the endless void at the moment when the sun, moon, and stars alternated. Sometimes, a ray of mystic light can only be obtained by a sun-moon tier warrior who has to wait for several years. It's worth a drop of sun-moon mystic blood essence in exchange for a ray. What about the sun and moon mystic yellow liquid? 3 drops of sun and moon mystic blood essence can be exchanged for 1 drop. Damn, how black-hearted. Killing 1 sun and moon would be exchanged for 3 drops of the sun and moon mystic yellow liquid and 10 rays of heaven and earth mystic light. Who knew how much this ray of mystic light would cost? It might not be as much as what he had just obtained. Black-hearted businessman. To say that Lord Xiaoho was black-hearted was really unfair to Lord Xiaoho. Lord Xiaoho was not that black-hearted. He wasn't prepared to exchange, but at least he knew the price. It wasn't cheap. Suyu continued, now that I'm surrounded, how much does it cost to kill Qing armor for me? How much does it cost to kill Dao Qing? Qing armor, peak of the mountain and sea realm. He's a member of one of the top 100 races. He has to be at least at the 3rd level of the sun-moon realm to be able to kill him stably. In addition, he has to offend the black-armored race, the human race's million merit points, or other treasures of equivalent value. Dao Qing, a genius of the celestial race, a genius on the earth roll, and an invincible descendant. The price is 5 times that of Qing Jia. Damn. Suyu had given up completely. You guys are ruthless. Does that mean that killing Qing Jia for 1 million merit points and killing Dao for 5 million merit points? This price. Even Suyu couldn't afford to spend it. Furthermore, the other party had a small note. If the killing fails, you will not be able to return it. If an expert shows up to stop you, even if the mission fails, you will not be able to return it. Actually, he wasn't buying a kill, but a chance to kill me. If he failed, he wouldn't be able to return the money. Screw you. How much does it cost to kill me? Suyu asked. How much does it cost to kill me? Twice as much as Dao Qing. Suyu was delighted and satisfied. As expected, I am worth more than Dao Qing. So expensive. Even the 10,000 clans at the human realm didn't have so much money to kill me. I didn't even have to kill Xiaolongu, yet I am actually worth 10 million merit points. Very good. Indeed, in the celestial battlefield, my price has been rising steadily. I even wanted to kill myself. Then can I destroy the immortal race? There was no reply. Can I destroy the gods and demons? There was no reply. Clearly, the heaven-hunting pavilion didn't want to reply to such a boring question. Suyu smiled and didn't ask any more questions. It seemed that the heaven-hunting pavilion's strength hadn't reached this stage yet. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1670. 1670 Chapter 378 Suyu's Ace in the Hole 3. No longer talking nonsense with the heaven-hunting pavilion, Suyu sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. As for inspecting the house, there was nothing to see. He could see everything he could see, but he could not see anything. Perhaps he would have to wait for some time or night before he would appear. The most important thing now was to dispel the aura of death, forge a physical body, and let the physical body advance once again. After reaching 18 points, the strength of the physical body would officially break through the barrier of 10,000 apertures. This trip to the ancient city had not been in vain. At the very least, he had already forged a body several times. Of course, it would be even better if he could obtain some other fortuitous opportunities. If the strength of the physical body breaks through, it's still a little lacking. Now, it seems that the willpower is still a little weak. The God-expanding hammer and the divine literature battle skills aren't too much of a threat to Dao Qing. Qing armor is even more troublesome. Many thoughts flashed in his mind as Suyu silently absorbed the heaven and earth mystic light. After 7 to 8 hours, it was likely to be dark outside again. Suyu's body shook as a powerful lifeblood and yuan qi burst out, sweeping in all directions as golden light flickered. He had succeeded in casting his body. He had also completely absorbed the heaven and earth mystic light. Killing a third level of the mountain and sea realm was quite a good harvest. 18 cast. Su Yu threw a punch, and the sound of an air explosion rang out. It shook all directions. Outside the house, the undead spirits once again attacked the door. It was much more intense than before, and it looked like it was indeed dark. During the day, even if the undead spirits appeared, they would not be as active. It was Su Yu's second day in the ancient city. Soon, it would be his third day. By this time tomorrow, it would be almost 3 days. How many days has Qingjia been here? Su Yu touched his chin and took out the ranking board again. He typed, "Help me monitor when Qingjia leaves the ancient city." How much is it? 50,000 merit points. Damn it. It was really dark. Su Yu was somewhat regretful. He had met that big bird yesterday and didn't leave his contact details. Otherwise, he would have looked for that big bird. Of course, the other party didn't have the credibility of the heaven hunting pavilion. If he really asked, Su Yu might not dare to believe it. Su Yu was still thinking about something when the heaven hunting pavilion suddenly took the initiative to say, "There are quite a number of experts rushing to heaven-destroying city. Do you need to buy information?" No need. Su Yu was too lazy to be this sucker. Of course, he knew that there were experts coming. What was the point of buying all this information? Before they arrived, it would be best for him to escape. Turn the tables. How would he turn the tables? If Ching Ai didn't leave, he wouldn't have any good methods to deal with him. Torture him to death. Or what? How about destroying the house and attracting more undead? When there were enough undead, they would all be waiting outside. Ching Ai would probably have a headache as well. Would they be directly killed by the undead? I really want to try. But I'm also afraid that I won't be able to escape. That would be troublesome. When I arrive at the heavenly battlefield, I still feel that my strength isn't enough. Su Yu sighed. He felt that he was still okay. He had already killed mountains and seas. In the end, it was still not enough. When would this day end? If he wasn't invincible, would he be unable to continue living? I wanted to hide my identity and cultivate in silence. As expected, too outstanding a person cannot be hidden anywhere. Sizzling sounds continued. The aura of death spread out again. The aura of death outside was probably very thick as well. It was unknown whether Qingjia and the others had been guarding outside or had found a house to hide. Even if they did find a house, these guys would probably feel uncomfortable. I don't believe that they all have the same amount of heaven origin chi as me. Su Yu began to sort out his gains. Killing the black armored race actually didn't yield much. He gave the corpse to the heaven hunting pavilion, but he didn't take the spoils of war from the third level of the mountain and sea realm. However, in Heaven Break Valley, Su Yu did gain quite a lot. He killed Lei Ju, killed the blue-armored and red-armored race, and killed many geniuses of the 10,000 races. There were still some gains. Just Ling Yun's corpse alone was enough to fill his storage ring. At this moment, Su Yu finally had the time to take inventory. These fellows couldn't open the door, so he wasn't in a hurry. If he really opened it, he would need to gather more Heaven's origin energy and prepare for a massacre. At most, he wouldn't need his physical body. Don't force me. He took inventory of the corpses and his storage ring. He took out treasures one by one. There were pills, weapons, armor, and a small portion of his cultivation techniques. Su Yu was considered to have seen the world, so he didn't really care about these things. Soon, he took out some more blood essence. Ling Yun Realm took out more than 180 drops of blood essence from more than 10 races. Sky Realm took out even more, taking out close to 200 drops of blood essence. There were all kinds of weapons, mainly Xian weapons. There were more than 20 of them in total. A few poor people actually used yellow weapons, and there wasn't a single earth weapon. Lei Ju's spear was actually an earth weapon, but it was only a beginner level, with 73 golden patterns, and it was broken. It wasn't very valuable. Suyu thought for a while and didn't care about that. He started to devour the blood essence and the blood essence that he had never seen before. For example, Lei Ju's Thunder God clan, and Minchin's Six-Winged God clan, and the Kunpeng were all blood essence that he had never obtained before. He tried to devour them all to see if there were any powerful cultivation techniques or special cultivation techniques. He remembered that he had killed a civilized master. Suyu rarely killed civilized masters. Not many civilized masters appeared on the battlefield, and those who appeared were all experts. For example, Dao Cheng. Suyu wanted to kill him and see if he could get some powerful techniques. His 5 elements divine arts might not be complete, and there were no signs of opening his yin aperture. Without opening the yin orifices, how to burst out of the formidable strength? Yang orifices do not dare to fully open. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1671. 1671 Chapter 378 Suyu's Ace in the Hole 4. With his yang apertures fully opened, Suyu's strength would definitely improve. Taking advantage of the fact that the house had not been breached yet, Suyu quickly devoured all kinds of blood essence, including those garbage weapons. He wanted to see if he could smelt them and try to forge a powerful weapon. Outside. Qingjia and the others did not stay outside. Instead, they entered a house opposite Suyu. The aura of death surrounded them. At this moment, the door was open. Even if it was open, the dead souls did not enter. These people had been staring at the opposite side. At this moment, Jiu Xian and Dao Cheng had taken out a lot of heavenly yuan qi and were constantly consuming it to resist the attack of the aura of death. Qingjia, Funjia, and Silver Armor were resisting it with their own strength. Dao Cheng watched for a while and could not help but say, the Black Armored Clan also has the Tianyuan Holy Land. You guys have been stationed here for many years. Do you think that you have no heavenly yuan qi at all? They were being too stingy. If this continued, these guys would have to leave the ancient city tomorrow and the day after. If they really did not have enough Tianyuan qi, then they could only give up. Otherwise, if they surrounded and killed Suyu, before Suyu died, these guys would be attacked to death by the death qi. Qing Armor said lightly, the Black Armored Clan is not like the Immortal Clan. There is only one Tianyuan Holy Land and it needs to provide Tianyuan fruit trees with Tianyuan qi all year round. The clan leader also needs it for his cultivation. How can there be an extra Tianyuan qi supply? After saying that, he took out an ancient city token. This can also resist the invasion of death qi, but it is not very effective. This is an ancient city token with 24 rings. At 18 rings, this ancient city token was not very effective. He threw this ancient city token to the injured Burning Armor and said softly, Burning Armor, if you cannot hold on, then leave. Here, it is not very useful. Shanghai City was considered an expert. However, in this place, these geniuses could kill as easily as drinking water. The first layer of Shanghai City was a burden, and they could be killed at any time. Burning Armor was injured. Suyu hadn't been enough to kill the broken armor, and Burning Armor was also heavily injured. Now, with the invasion of Death Aura, if this continued, it would be very troublesome. Blazing Armor was silent for a while, then, he said, how about I turn into a resident of the ancient city? Black Armor was killed, and now, our clan doesn't have an ancient city, mountain and sea. If I turn into a resident of the ancient city, with my strength, I might be able to control some of the dead souls and forcefully attack that house. Qing Armor was silent. Turning meant that he was bound to this city, and he would never be able to leave this place for the rest of his life. If they didn't convert, several experts of the Black Armor clan would be killed. There were also a few experts of the Black Armor clan among the residents of the ancient city. However, the strongest of them was only at the Lingyun realm. The mountain and sea realm was gone. They had suffered heavy losses because of Su Yu. Qingjia sighed and didn't say anything. Fen Jia knew that he had agreed. He didn't say anything else. He quickly took out a jade talisman and dripped a drop of fiery red blood onto it. He dyed the jade talisman red and threw it outside. In an instant, a figure of a dead spirit appeared outside. After taking the jade talisman, he wrote and drew on the sign outside the door, completely ignoring the others in the room. A moment later, the dead spirit disappeared. The burning armor was ready to transform. 3 days later, he would officially become a resident of the ancient city, and the death aura in the room would not have much effect on him, including the dead spirits. Even if they saw him, as long as he did not provoke the dead spirits would not care about him. Dao Cheng and Zhou Xian watched in silence. Normally, they had no choice but to make such a choice after becoming a resident of the ancient city. The guy from the Black Armor clan was really ruthless. Zhou Xian could not help but say, then we should just wait. Su Yu is inside. We don't know how long it will take for him to come out. Soon, we will also have to go out to eliminate the aura of death. We can only come back the next day. If he comes out during this period, we will lose him. Qingjia said coldly, there are very few people in the city who have the ancient city token of the 18th ring. Other than the city lord, there might only be a few suns and moons. If we don't wait, then we will find someone to borrow it. Not many people dare to borrow it to kill human geniuses. As he said that, he added, there might be another one, Madwa Na. You want to borrow it to take a look? Zhou Xian hurriedly said, the human race and the gods and demons are the archenemies. Since Madwa Na is here, why don't you take action and kill Su Yu? This was also where she was puzzled. What was Mo Duo Na thinking? With Mo Duo Na's strength, talent, and background, he definitely had many methods. If he really attacked, Su Yu would have been in trouble long ago. Dao Qing sighed, Mo Duo Na wants to raise some gu that can help him. Su Yu isn't enough, he wants to raise stronger ones. Mo Duo Na is very proud, unless Su Yu reaches the level of 7th level of Mountain Sea Realm, otherwise, the probability of him attacking isn't high. This was the tyranny of the origin demon race. He was not afraid of Su Yu growing. When Su Yu could kill a 7th level Mountain Sea Realm expert, Mo Duo Na would take the initiative to kill Su Yu without anyone saying anything. Stupid. Zhou Xian cursed, truly stupid. If he did not kill when he was weak, what if he could not kill when he was strong? Was he only satisfied after being defeated by someone? She wasn't old, and hadn't been in the heavenly battlefield for long. Although she had some battle achievements, this was the first time she had experienced such an intense slaughter. If she wasn't careful, even mountains and seas would fall. This was also the first time she had faced a genius from a powerful clan. In the past, she had only encountered small clans. As she spoke, a few figures appeared on the street. They weren't undead spirits. They were experts from other clans. Not far away, Long Zhan from the Heavenly Dragon tribe arrived. He looked over and smiled when he saw the door open. The white-robed Long Zhan was very eye-catching under the night sky. He didn't say much and found a room. After entering, the door opened, he was also looking over. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1672 1672 Chapter 378 Su Yu's Ace in the Hole 5. They were here to watch the show. On the other side, an Mintian and Tian duo had also arrived. They didn't enter the 18th ring, but around the 20th ring. They each found a house and opened the door. They could see where they were and stayed there. These geniuses had also chased after them in the Sky Break Valley. However, they hadn't come to this city before, but to the ancient city where Qin Fong was. In the end, Qin Fong didn't watch the show, so they all came here. Just as they were thinking, a man in black armor rode on a fierce tiger and quickly entered the city. Under the night sky, he flew in the sky. Very soon, he headed straight over here. He looked at Qing Jia and shouted across the sky, "How dare you? Do you want to exterminate the black-armored race? Qing Jia, I heard that you dare to capture the humans here. You must have eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's guts." Qing Jia looked at him and did not make a move. Instead, he said in a deep voice, "So you killed 2 geniuses on the list of our race. Isn't revenge the right thing to do? Although the humans are strong, our race didn't send out the sun and moon to take revenge. Does the human race have to interfere with this? If that's the case, the geniuses of the human race might as well retreat back to the human realm." Qin Fong thought for a moment and nodded. That makes sense. He smiled and looked at Dao Cheng and Zhou Xian. He was standing on the roof. He smiled and said, "Celestials, this smell is really familiar." Dao Cheng and Zhou Xian. "I killed a little fairy 2 years ago. She's at the 3rd level of Ling Yun. It seems like she has something to do with you, right?" Dao Cheng looked at him and said indifferently, "That's my clan sister." Qin Fong, just kill her. Aren't you afraid of getting into trouble if you say it in public? Trouble? Qin Fong said coldly, "Dao Cheng, Zhou Xian, the Human Immortal Alliance. You guys killed Su wantonly. Since you've done it, why are you afraid of trouble? Why don't you kill me too?" Dao Cheng said plainly, "No one wants to kill Su Yu. We're just inviting him to the immortal realm as a guest. Also, it's also a rule for a multi-divine literature department genius to be a guest of the 10,000 races. Bullsh * T rule, did you set it?" Dao Cheng said plainly, "It's not me. It's some of the 10,000 races who are invincible. Su Yu is already out of the range of the human realm. Inviting him to be a guest is also common sense. Qin Fong, you want to protect him?" "Me?" Qin Fong chuckled. "I can't protect him. I'm only at the 6th level of Lingyun realm. I'm not even as good as you, Dao Cheng. How can I protect him? I'm just reminding you that the Human Immortal Alliance is still around. Don't let the gods and demons see a joke." Dao Cheng ignored him and didn't want to say anything. It was difficult to judge Qin Fong's strength at the moment. He might have already entered the 7th level of Lingyun realm. Once he entered the 7th level of Lingyun realm, Dao Cheng did not dare to say that he could definitely defeat him. It had been quite some time since Qin Fong had killed the 3rd level of the mountain and sea realm. Cheng Armor sent a voice transmission. "Qin Fong is here. What should we do now?" The human race had sent an expert. Qin Fong's strength might seem ordinary, but he was once a heaven roll expert and was now number 1 on the earth roll. He was not afraid, but Qin Fong and Su Yu were slightly different. This was the descendant of the great Qin king. The son of Qin Zhen. The grandson of Qin Guang. If one truly counted, the grandson of the great Qin king had a very high status. If he killed Qin Fong, it might cause the great Qin king to personally intervene. As for Su Yu, although he was also a human, he was a multi-element divine arts expert. In the heavenly battlefield, it was indeed difficult for him to advance. Su Yu didn't have an invincible person standing up for him. Killing Su Yu and killing Qin Fong were 2 different concepts. Without Maudwa Na's identity, killing Qin Fong was courting death. Don't bother about him. Dao Cheng ignored Qin Fong. He was not afraid of Qin Fong, who was weaker than him. Even if Qin Fong had broken through to the 7th level of Lingyun realm, he could still fight. Now, he only hoped that the experts of the various races could block all the other experts of the human race. Otherwise, Su Yu wouldn't be able to kill him. Outside the house, Qin Fang was attacked by the aura of death under the night sky. He curled his lips and flew down. He found a house and went in. The door was opened and he stared at them. He felt helpless in his heart. There was nothing he could do. He came alone. If he wasn't strong enough, it would be difficult to deal with Dao Cheng, let alone armor. It was fated that the multi-divine literature department would be besieged by people. He did not know how the human realm headquarters would discuss and whether they had arranged for reinforcements. If no one came to help, Suyu would probably be finished. Moreover, that guy Modwa was here. It was fine if that guy did not see him, but if he saw him, if he was a little stronger, that guy would definitely attack him. If he attacked, he would only provoke a strong enemy for Suyu. Troublesome. Glancing at Dao Cheng and Jiu Xian in the distant house, Qin Fang curled his lips once again. Damn it, he was really rich. The celestial race really had a lot of heaven yuan qi. He had only just arrived here, and he was already feeling a little uncomfortable from being attacked by the death qi in the house. My Qin clan is not as rich as the celestial race. Looking at the house that was surrounded by the dead spirits again, that should be where Suyu was, right? This guy was really gutsy. He had killed so many people here, and now he was attacking from both inside and outside. He did not know how long he could hold on. He hoped that he could hold on until the human experts came to his aid. However, this kid was a little scary. He had killed a third level of the mountain and sea realm. Although it was said that he had used his innate blood essence, his physical body was definitely not weak. Otherwise, he would not have been able to use his innate blood essence. Had the technique of his innate blood essence reached such a level? He killed the third level of the mountain and sea realm when he was only at the first level of the Lingyun realm. I only killed him when I was at the sixth level of the Lingyun realm. I can't believe I'm being defeated. Qin Fang thought to himself as he played with the voice transmission talisman in his hand. His second uncle was not far from here. Would he come? He was not sure. If he did not come, would the Daming Mansion send an expert to protect Suyu? The Daming Mansion had always kept a low profile. They were cautious and did not stick out too much. If the Daming Mansion did not send anyone, and Suyu had fallen out with the Great Xia Mansion, the strongest person in the many divine languages department would be Hong Tan. Even if Hong Tan rushed over, an expert who had just entered the sun and moon might not be able to do anything. Moreover, if Hong Tan came now, he might draw out invincible. The Great Xia Manor would most likely not let him come, including Hong Tan himself. Even if he wanted to come, he wouldn't be able to come. If he came, it would be even more troublesome. There were many people who were eyeing his splitting method now. Suyu. Sigh. He sighed, unable to describe what he felt. His talent was very good and he was very strong. However, he did not have a stable invincible person who was willing to stand up for him. He did not have a reliable mansion to support him. Furthermore, he was from the Department of Multiple Divine Arts. His position was actually very awkward. He was not as free as Huang Teng and Suyu. The black-armored race dared to kill Suyu, but they did not dare to kill him. This was the difference. Sometimes, one had to rely on one's backer. Even though Modwa was so arrogant, there were not many experts who went to kill him. And at this moment, Suyu did not care about anything else. A large amount of heaven yuan qi enveloped him. With the invasion of death qi, he continued to temper his body, but he did not care who came and who did not. It was better to rely on oneself than on others. It was not a big deal if no one came to help. He would take advantage of the fact that the experts from the various large clans had not arrived to shatter his body and do something big. He wanted to see if he could kill all the fellows outside. At worst, he could just rebuild his body. The moment he decided not to run away, he had already prepared himself to bear all the responsibility. Otherwise, if that big bird told him the news, he would have left. But Su Yu wasn't willing. In the human realm, I was like a grandson. At this point, I wouldn't be a grandson anymore. I would just kill to my heart's content. If it really didn't work out, he would open all his young orifices. There was always a way. Harry Ball, if I die, you'll be crushed to death. Won't the Grand Assembly come and start a massacre? Su Yu's sudden question made the little Harry Ball shiver. Don't crush me to death. I can bring your sea of will to run away. You said it yourself. The little Harry Ball wanted to cry. He wanted to crush me to death. Crush me to death. Will the Grand Assembly come to kill people? They definitely would. But I'm already dead. I don't want to be like this. Su Yu was deep in thought. When it came to a backup plan, if he really died, then what else could he say? If a half-emperor came to attack, then all the people in the ancient city would probably be wiped out. And at this moment, the stone statue of the ancient city suddenly opened its eyes. He had a feeling that he was being watched. It was very close. His gaze instantly fell on Su Yu's side. He was a little absent-minded. What was going on? Even I felt that something was wrong. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1673. 1673 Chapter 379, Self-Saving Method, Getting Out of the Ancient House Chiu. Subscribe. 1. If I open all my young apertures, will it suck me to death? Su Yu, who was in the middle of cultivation, was preparing for his last resort while thinking about how to increase his strength. If he opened all his young apertures, he didn't know what exactly would happen. However, he knew that if he opened all of his young apertures, his strength would definitely increase greatly. Other than Bai Tianhao, there seemed to be someone else in the Bai clan who had done the same thing. It was most likely Bai Feng's grandfather. He might not have died, but his physical body was probably in tatters. Grandfather Bai Feng was a fighter, so he wasn't someone who didn't care about his physical body. Once his physical body was broken, even if he didn't die, he would probably be crippled. Therefore, it was very likely that he had been maintaining this state. He was preparing for his final battle. Bai Tianhao, if one were to say that he had monstrous talent and was invincible in the world, it wouldn't go as far as that. Such a person could even kill someone at the 7th level of the mountain and sea realm with his young aperture. It could be seen that if his young aperture was fully opened, his strength would definitely skyrocket. Back then, Bai Tianhao's strength at the 9th level of the mountain and sea realm might not necessarily be stronger than Su Yu's now. Even if he was stronger, there was a limit to his strength. And Su Yu had more openings. Young aperture. Su Yu took a deep breath. He still lacked a yin aperture. Otherwise, once the young aperture was opened, it could be closed. Now that it was fully opened, it could not be closed. This was a huge headache. If my young aperture is fully opened, my strength might be doubled. What if he consumed the 3rd level of the mountain sea essence blood and opened the young aperture? The young aperture absorbs energy. A large amount of energy requires countless amounts of yuan qi to maintain. When the essence blood is consumed, the body contains a large amount of energy. If that's the case, can I temporarily neutralize it? Can the heaven yuan qi satisfy the absorption of the young aperture? Su Yu wanted to open his young aperture. If continuously absorbing heaven yuan qi could satisfy his young aperture, then Su Yu really wanted to give it a try. At the worst case scenario, his body would still be shattered. Open my young aperture. This thought rose up again and again. During the day, Hao Lingyun at the 9th level could kill someone at the 7th level of the mountain and sea realm. Then, if I devour blood essence and open my young aperture at the 3rd level of the mountain and sea realm, how many levels can I kill? Would Qing Jia have the ability to kill him? Where is the yin aperture? After killing Dao Cheng of the Immortal Clan, can you provide me with some different divine arts so that I can open some more? There were too many thoughts and too many thoughts. The only way was to kill. Su Yu had never thought of escaping. Even if he did, he wouldn't do it now. He had come to the battlefield of the heavens to strengthen himself, to not be bullied by others, to not be controlled by others. His martial uncle and grandmaster had endured for a lifetime, but Su Yu couldn't do it. He had seen it. They had endured until the end, and now they were in a miserable state. Then he couldn't bear it. He would kill until everyone was afraid. At this moment, Su Yu's killing intent was overflowing, and killing intent rose in all directions. His killing intent was extremely heavy. In terms of killing intent, Su Yu was more important than anyone else in the divine literature department. Even Hong Tan might not be as murderous as him. Other than the people he valued, he didn't care about anyone else. Dao Cheng had previously said that he wanted to capture humans to threaten him. Su Yu could not be bothered to pay attention to him. As you wish. He wanted to capture a few people and make him surrender. If it was really that simple, all of the invincible humans would have died long ago. He could just kill himself. His sea of consciousness trembled. Su Yu reminded him again, I was just trying to scare you when I said that I would crush you to death. At the critical moment, my body exploded. You must take my sea of consciousness and leave. When I rise again, don't have any designs on my sea of consciousness. You know that you don't have the ability now. I know. Little Hairy Ball quickly answered and quickly said, can't we beat those bad guys? We can't beat them. We can't beat them now. Su Yu smiled and said, it's okay. We can beat them very soon. It's best if I kill Ching Armor. Heaven and earth will reward me with something good. I'll simply use a large amount of heaven and earth mystic light to help me stabilize my body. That would be the best. This was the best ideal state. When the body was broken, the heaven and earth reward would come. That would be great. It would be best if it was the heaven and earth mystic light. No, maybe he could take a gamble. If he killed enough people and geniuses, then there would be hope. A person would reward himself once. If he couldn't kill one, then he would kill two. If he couldn't kill two, then he would kill 3 or 4. The rewards of heaven and earth were nothing more than those things. One more thing, is a dead spirit a living creature? Su Yu muttered. Killing a dead spirit, could he extract its blood essence? *CK, if he could extract it, could he eat this blood essence and learn the method to release the aura of death? The dead spirits weren't strong, but even if they were in the sky realm, they could still give the mountain sea realm a headache. Undead. Su Yu's eyes suddenly moved. He quickly took out the ranking board and said, I want to purchase 100 drops of undead essence blood. At this moment, in the heaven hunting pavilion, the masked man looked at the faceless elder again and said with some resentment, Elder, this Su Yu suddenly wants to purchase undead essence blood. I checked the information, but it's not in the database. Do we have this? The faceless elder walked over again and looked at the record of the chat. He frowned slightly and said after a while, the blood essence of the dead cannot be consumed. Is this guy going to use it to make the blood essence of the dead? To use it as the death chi? He pondered for a moment and said, the dead also have the blood essence, but once it enters the mouth, a large amount of death chi will burst out instantly, corroding the body and taking away the vitality. This thing is usually used to make the death chi bullet. If this guy dies after consuming the blood essence of the dead, it will be a big joke. Elder, should we sell it to him? Tell him clearly, sell it. However, this thing is not cheap. Dead souls are very difficult to kill, and they hold grudges. If you kill one, the others will be watching you. A drop of soaring blood essence costs 5,000 human merit points. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1674. 1674 Chapter 379, The Method of Self-Rescue, Getting Out of the Ancient House 2. How black-hearted. This was what the masked man thought in his heart. The masked man felt that the elder was black-hearted. The blood essence of a sky-flaring realm god and demon only cost 1 to 2,000 merit points a drop. But now, the necromancer's blood essence cost 5,000 merit points a drop. Was the elder planning to empty Suyu out? Could it be that he was afraid that Suyu would die and have no money to trade in the future? Elder, he might not need someone in the sky realm. Is there anyone stronger? Yes, there are some in the Lingyun realm as well, and there are some in the Shanhai realm. There are a small number. Increase by 1 level, and the price will increase by 10 times. The masked man was stunned. This meant that 50,000 in the Lingyun realm and 500,000 in the Shanhai realm. This was countless times more expensive than the primordial gods and devils. The Shanhai realm. 500,000 a drop. The masked man looked at the elder. Elder, how dare you raise such a price? Killing a mountain and sea realm and extracting 10 drops, wouldn't that be 5 million points? The faceless elder said calmly, don't look at me like that. Killing a mountain and sea realm undead, is as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Killing one will most likely result in a sun and moon undead. Once this thing appears, even the 9th level sun and moon realm will have a headache. All these years, only a few have killed a sun and moon realm undead. Back then, Xia Longwu killed one and returned with heavy injuries, leaving the Heaven Destruction ancient city. 500,000 merit points per drop, isn't that too expensive? Human merit points aren't worth much. The elder said, he smiled and said, or we can use something else to see what he, Suyu, can exchange for. In a business transaction, we have to target the other party. He, Suyu, has the capital. When trading cultivation techniques in the human clan, he isn't an ordinary genius who needs the support of his clan. He is a wealthy man himself. Understood. At the same time, when Suyu received the reply, his heart skipped a beat. He did not care about the amount of money. He only knew that the undead really had blood essence. Is this considered a race? Suyu muttered. Was there any record in the atlas? Or did it appear in a dream? Would a person die if he swallowed a drop? Harry Ball, will you die if you eat the blood essence of the undead? Harry Ball was a little resentful this time. He said in a baby voice, it's fragrant, please. I won't eat it anymore. It smells bad, and the blood is even worse. I know it stinks too. Looking at the appearance of that dead spirit, to be honest, Suyu couldn't even eat it. Moreover, if it couldn't be absorbed by the atlas, then he would be in big trouble. He didn't know how much heaven yuan qi he would need to consume to neutralize it. He might as well try to swallow a drop of soaring sky realm. This wouldn't matter much, and he could still save it. Those who devoured mountains and seas might really play themselves to death. After confirming that it could be absorbed in opening the scroll, they could try swallowing mountains and seas. But it was too expensive. What a ridiculous price. 500,000 a drop. F*CKU, hiring people to kill the sun and moon was enough. I have 2 Protoss corpses, 1 Lei Jews, 1 6-winged Protoss, and a large number of corpses of geniuses from various races. Plus a bunch of random treasures. And 3 ancient city tokens. So many things, in exchange for 5 drops of soaring sky realm essence blood, 5 drops of soaring cloud realm essence blood, and 100 drops of early stage mountain and sea realm necromancy essence blood. Suyu was also very greedy. He did not say that the corpses still had essence blood, and that he had extracted all the essence blood. He had calculated the value of these things himself. At most, 200,000 merit points. At most, that was a lot. There were also 3 ancient city tokens, but they were all peripheral ones without a core. The strongest one only had 26 rings, so they were not very useful to Suyu. These things were somewhat useful to the airborne undead, they had almost no effect on the Lingyun mountains and seas. Of course, it was an ancient city token after all, and it was very rare. Adding the three together, Suyu judged that 100,000 merit points was still worth it. Adding them together, he felt that 300,000 merit points were worth it. However, Suyu opened his mouth and asked for 100 drops of mountain and sea essence blood, which was equivalent to the essence blood of 10 mountain and sea undead. All he had to do was bargain. Very quickly, another line of words appeared on the sub-leaderboard. Other than the mountain and sea essence blood, the rest can satisfy your needs. Boolsh *T, this is worth millions of merit points. How many drops of soaring cloud essence blood do you give me? Did you extract all the blood essence from the corpse? I still have some left. Do you want it? Then I'll add another drop of mountain and sea blood essence. Stop fooling around. I'm a big client. Look, how many transactions have I made with you in the past few days? You won't find many big clients like me all year round. How about this, I'll take a loss and add the corpses of the silver armor and burning armor. How about that? They're still alive. They'll be dead soon. This is just as unreliable as you saying that you want to use invincible corpses to exchange for them. Suyu quickly wrote, the heaven hunting pavilion doesn't even have this much courage. How about this, if I really can't kill them, I'll sell my own corpses to you. If I can't kill them, I should be done for, I'll use my own corpses to exchange for them. On the heaven hunting pavilion side, the masked man was silent for a moment. Use his own corpse to trade. The key was, if this guy was dead, would there really be a corpse left behind? The masked man looked at the elder again. The faceless elder looked for a while, and then he said, 10 drops of mountain and sea essence blood, that's the most. Use the silver armor and the burning armor's corpse to trade, plus the things he said. If he's dead, then we'll go and collect his corpse. There were 2 mountain and sea realm corpses, and one of them was at the 6th level of the mountain and sea realm. It was probably worth more than 100,000 merit points. So be it. It was close to 500,000 merit points. Exchanging for 10 drops of mountain and sea dead spirit essence blood wasn't a profit or a loss. After all, mountain and sea dead spirits were harder to kill than the Black Armor clan. You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1675. 1675 Chapter 379 Self-Saving Method, Getting Out of the Ancient House 3. Even if it was only the early stage of the mountain and sea realm, it was still harder to kill than the silver armor. However, since Suyu had already said that he was willing to exchange his corpse for it, it was worth a trade. It wasn't a loss. If Suyu really died, the heaven hunting pavilion would go and collect his corpse. Don't think that they wouldn't. Suyu himself had said that these records were verifiable. If he sold his corpse, even if the immortals killed him, the heaven hunting pavilion would still dare to collect his corpse. Suyu's body must have many secrets. The masked man was also surprised. The elder had really agreed. A moment later, Suyu received a reply and agreed to the deal. Suyu was instantly overjoyed. A pile of trash in exchange for some dead soul's blood essence was worth it. Not bad. The mountain and sea dead souls were not easy to kill. He knew it himself. This time, it was not too dark. Previously, he was really black-hearted. How do we trade? Someone blocked the door. It's fine. The list will inform you to open the instant portal. They won't let Qingjia and the others in, right? They're in. We'll help you kill them for free. Deal. Since the heaven hunting pavilion had said so, Suyu didn't say anything else. He just had to make preparations. He couldn't trust this organization completely. This organization was becoming more and more mysterious. They even had the blood essence of the undead. They had killed the undead before. They were really bold. He was also busy preparing himself. As for the opportunity in the ancient house, he did not care too much about it. At this time, killing people was an opportunity. Who cared about the ancient house's opportunity? An opportunity that could be obtained by everyone was not a good opportunity. So you thought of something again and quickly wrote on the list, "Give me another list." The list of people entering the city does not need any information. It only needs names, realms, and races. All of them? Yes. Are they updated in real time, or are they already fixed? They are updated in real time. Ling Yun and above, there's no need to calculate the rest. 300,000 merit points, thank you for your patronage. Su Yu was exhausted. Why did I work for so long and give all of them to you guys? The heaven hunting pavilion really dared to sell them. He gritted his teeth. 100,000, that's not a small amount. Buy. This time, he had made a huge sum. If he succeeded, his strength would increase. If he lost, he would have to start all over again. There might not even be a chance for him to do it again. Buy. Knowing that those geniuses were here, he decided to target them and see if he could obtain some heaven and earth rewards. The greatest benefit of this ancient city was them. Deal. Only their name, race, and strength will be provided. The rest will not be provided. No problem. Can you deduct the merit points? Yes, or you can provide an anonymous merit card. Okay. The two sides reached an agreement once again. At this moment, in the heaven hunting pavilion, the masked man sighed emotionally, "Elder, this fellow is indeed rich. After the transaction, he is almost close to the 1,000,000 merit points of the human race. It has only been a few days. Look, what is a big customer? This guy definitely doesn't want it. Even if it was a transaction with the sun and moon, only a few people could take out so many resources to trade. The previous 10 drops of sun and moon blood essence of the celestial race was considered a big deal, and it was also related to Su Yu. It was a huge profit. 1,000,000 merit points, whether it was the human race or the 10,000 races, those who took out resources of the same value were usually high in the sun and moon, or even invincible. In any case, at the early stage of the sun and moon, they might not be able to take it out even if they sold everything. The faceless elder smiled and said, "This is nothing. If this guy doesn't die this time, there will be a big deal sooner or later. This is a stable customer. A big customer can be maintained for a long time." Understood. The masked man was also in high spirits. This customer had to be maintained well. They, the masked men, also had a commission. Such a big deal, the commission was not low either. He could only rely on these geniuses to survive. Once they reached an agreement again, Su Yu waited for the delivery to arrive. This heaven-hunting pavilion was a courier on the battlefield. They dared to deliver goods anywhere. It was not an ordinary arrogance. How could the 10,000 clans tolerate it? It had actually not been uprooted until now. Was it an ancient existence, or did the newcomers continuously join in, allowing them to pass on their heritage? While Su Yu was waiting, the aura of death was boiling outside. It was still daytime. Suddenly, a large number of dead souls appeared and surrounded Su Yu's small house. Qing Jia quickly walked out of the house, and his expression changed slightly. "Who is it?" Dao Cheng and the others also walked out and quickly surrounded the door of the small house. In the next moment, a white mask appeared among the large number of dead souls. "Heaven Hunting Pavilion delivers goods, make it convenient." "How dare you!" Dao Cheng shouted coldly. "Heaven Hunting Pavilion even participated in this? Do you really think that Heaven Hunting Pavilion is invincible? Make it convenient, we'll leave soon. The white-masked man quickly handed over the goods to Suyu, who opened the door. A large number of dead souls surrounded them. We're not taking Suyu away. We're only trading some goods. Suyu can't afford to take him away. Dao Cheng, please don't be angry. Bastard! Dao Cheng roared angrily. At this moment, he was really annoyed. Do you think this is a child's play? The heaven hunting pavilion has gone too far. At this moment, the handover was completed. The white-masked man didn't say much and quickly escorted a large number of dead spirits away. Dao Cheng snorted coldly. In the next moment, a spatial crack appeared in front of the masked man. At the same time, Cheng Armor directly reached out and grabbed, knocking away the surrounding dead spirits. Killing the heaven hunting pavilion's people wasn't a big deal. They just wanted to see if it was worth it. They also wanted to see what kind of things Suyu had paid a great price to buy. There weren't just one or two people who wanted to kill the heaven hunting pavilion's masked people. Even the floating earth spirits said that they brought the sub-rankings just to kill the other party.